Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if God like Naruto and Sasuke civilian council bashing part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. He stood on top of the Hokage monument staring out at the beautiful village before him. I wonder if anyone will notice, he said with a sad smile. Feeling a breeze hit his naked body, he turns around and continues his task at hand, placing small bookmark-sized pieces of paper all over his body. After placing the final few on his head, he walks over to the edge one more time and remembers the biggest events that brought him to do the one thing that would finally make his village happy. Flashback. You are the demon Naruto, you are the nine-tailed fox, said Mizuki, his one-time former teacher. Naruto stood there shaking. You are lying, everyone knows the QB is dead. Mizuki looks at the blonde boy and smiles devilishly. Are you sure? Iruka looked at Naruto with true sadness in his eyes. Naruto, you are not the fox, you are just its holder. Naruto, shocked and hurting, looks at his teacher, the one person he thought truly cared and loved him, and shouted with tears in his eyes, you knew and told me nothing. Iruka looked away, saying nothing. Mizuki just laughed, clapping his hands. No one can love you, demon, you are that unlovable, unwanted, and uncared for. You are alone now, will always be alone, and will never know what a real friend is. But do not worry, I will fix all that for you. Hand me the scroll and I will end the hate, the pain, the feeling of being alone, and free your tortured soul, he said in a surprising sincere voice. And oh, screamed Iruka. I will not allow you to hurt him no matter what. Naruto looked at his sensei, tears streaming down his face. Mizuki, tired of waiting, took the giant shuriken off his back and threw it at Naruto, screaming, die demon. Closing his eyes, waiting for the bliss of nothingness that never came. Opening his eyes, he only saw green. Looking up, he saw his teacher looking down at him, saying, it's okay Naruto, I will not let him hurt you. Now take the scroll and run as fast as you can. Shaking his head, Naruto stood there wishing that he would have just been hit and left to die like he wanted. Iruka grabbed Naruto and hugged him, saying, I am sorry I did not tell you, but I was not allowed. Naruto, you are not the demon, you are just a boy who has one inside of him. You are like a prison and in it is the demon. Naruto looked up, nodding to his teacher, but inside not believing him in the slightest. Mizuki started to take another large shuriken off his back. Naruto stood up. I won to you, hurt Iruka-sensei, he screamed. His once former teacher, now traitor, let loose the shuriken. As it got close, he thought of taking this one in the head but decided to block it. He took out a kunai and deflected it. Mizuki looked at he, blonde, what you going to do to stop me, demon? Naruto looked up at the man and put his fingers in a cross shape and shouted, shadow clone jutsu. A large puff of smoke took up the clearing. As it cleared, Mizuki's eyes grew wide. Standing all around were hundreds of Narutos, and together they said, we're going to kick your ass. Flashback end. Naruto smiled, thinking back to that moment. He had kicked Mizuki's ass so bad. Taking off his Konoha headband and stared at it, thinking of another time. Flashback. Sitting on the roof of the academy after Team 7 little introduction powwow, he looked out over the schoolyard, thinking about himself and the demon. He saw a little old lady crossing the street with a bag that was too big for her little old arms. As he stared on, he watched as the bag dropped. Jumping down, he walked over. Excuse me, ma, may I help you? Why yes, that would be. Turning around, the lady looked at the boy and screamed, help, the demon is trying to kill me like he did my son. Naruto flinched. Help, call Ambu, someone, he is going to kill me. I am just trying to help you, please stay calm. The woman started to scream more and more the closer he got to her. When he was about to touch her, she grabbed her chest and started to fall. He caught her and looked down at her. With terror in her eyes, she looked at him. He then started to notice a glaze coming over the woman's eyes. He watched as this poor old woman was scared to death by him. Flashback end. A single tear fell from his eye onto the shiny surface of his headband as he placed on a scroll. He now knew that the village was right, he was a monster, a demon. He had killed a poor defenseless old lady. As he looked over the edge, he thought, at least I am going out with a bang. He turned to look at the neat pile of cloths with the scroll on top and smiled. As he leaned back and jumped, he felt weightless physically and mentally. Smiling, he started to spin. About halfway down, he was facing the city, flared his chakra as much as he could, and said the only word that came to mind. Bang. As Sarutobi was sitting doing the Hokage's greatest enemy in a heated battle, when he heard a loud explosion coming from the Hokage mountain. Jumping up from his seat, knocking the paperwork to the ground, he shouted, status report. 2 Ambu appeared in front of the desk. Hokage-sama, there has been an explosion in front of the mountain, but it seems that the monument was not hit at all, said the Ambu with purple hair. Sarutobi walked over to the window and looked out at the mountain. He felt something terrible had happened. He looked over at the Ambu and said, let's go. He jumped out the window, heading at a fast pace toward the mountain, hoping beyond hope that no one was hurt, but he knew that that was just a dream. Naruto awoke in a room of pure white. Looking around, he saw that he was alone. He sat up. Where am I? Getting up, he started to walk around looking for something to see other than white. Doing this for several minutes without finding anything, he sat down and wondered where he could possibly be. Lost in his thoughts, he never noticed a black dot behind him that was slowly getting larger. He turned around, hearing a squeaking. A open door standing. It was without a doubt the two most beautiful girl he had ever seen, and both were staring right at him. The two stepped through and the door closed behind them, leaving it with just himself and the two girls. The first girl walked up to him, seeming to be the more timed and, in his opinion, the cuter of them. She was a little shorter than him, with dark blue hair and bangs that extended over the corners of her eyes that reminded him of someone he knew. She had chocolate brown eyes that held a sadness that reminded him of when he drops his mask of happiness and looks into the mirror at himself. She had a beautiful pale skin, but under her left eye she had a fat line of green. She had on a pure white kimono with short sleeves with a lavender sash around the middle holding it together. He noted that she had a bandage going all the way up her left arm from the wrist to disappearing into her kimono. She stopped in front of him with a sad smile on her face and said in the most shy yet strong voice he had ever heard, "Hello, Naruto-kun." "Who are you?" he said, staring at her like. "I am Kami and I am here to help you," she said. He looked down and tears started to fall from his eyes. "Why do you cry, Naruto? I am not worthy to be here in front of you. You who is the good in all things, the light of the world and beauty beyond compare. I am a demon, something that is evil. I deserve to be in hell with Yami." "I don't think so, and I take offense to saying she is a beauty beyond compare," said the other girl. She walked toward him. She was the sexier of the two. She had long flowing red hair that looked like blood spun into hair. She was taller than him by about a foot. Her eyes were blue like his own, but a lighter blue like the sky on a summer's day. She had slightly tanned skin and was wearing the most revealing cloths. She had on a fishnet shirt that held back what Naruto swore were the biggest assets he ever saw on a girl before. She wore a purple skirt that barely went to mid-thigh, and over it all she wore a blood-red trench coat. "Who are you?" "I am Yami," she said with a strange look in her eyes. "Then you are here to take me to the place I belong, right? The place I deserve to be in." "No," she said in a sad voice. "Why not? I am a demon, I am evil, I deserve it." Smack, smack. Naruto held his hands to his cheeks as he stared at the two women who had just struck him. He fell to his knees in front of them and screamed as loud as he could. "Why?" The two girls turned to one another and looked questions at each other. "Why, what?" said Yami. "Why am I not being sent to hell? I am evil. Everyone has said it, and everyone feels it. I have been treated as an evil being since I can remember. I was hated, beaten, stabbed, burned, and so many other horrible things in my life. Cause of what I am. I hold inside me the greatest evil that ever lived." Pulling off his shirt, he showed them the seal on his stomach. The girls looked at it, and both were in tears at what they saw on this poor boy. He had scars littering his body, some small, others larger, but the worst of all was the brandings on his chest and back. Evil Demon was branded on his chest, big enough that it covered his whole chest and some of his stomach up to the top of the seal. On his back it said Demon Fox. Yami looked at him as a few tears of red strayed down her cheek and said, "The Kyuubi's chakra should have healed those. Your skin should be perfect and flawless. How did they do this?" Naruto looked up at her and said in a sad voice, "They pour salt onto them, and when they burned me and branded me they seared it to the bone, and then poured salt in it, and seared it again." Kami was crying openly now, holding her arms to her face, letting loose tears that were silver. Naruto looked at her and Yami and asked them, "Why do you cry for me, a demon, a evil like no other?" Kami walked up to him and hugged him to her and started to say, "I'm sorry. I am so sorry, please forgive me, I never thought it would be this bad." He wrapped his arms around her and said, "I do not deserve these tears you shed for me. Neither of you should cry for me. The two most beautiful and powerful people in existence stand before me. I say I do not have to go to hell." Both girls blushed at what he said and smiled. "Naruto, we have something that we need to tell you, give you, and ask of you." "I do not understand. Why are you two talking to me, and why am I not in hell? I killed myself. I did the worst thing a person could do. I ended my own life." "You're not dead. You're just in a coma of sorts," said Yami. "But I put enough explosives on me to blow the north gate of Konoha. There is no way I should be alive. I should be pieces of meat, no dust, in fact. Many of the tags you used were faulty, so the damage was not as bad as it should have been," said Kami. "As we expect, the Kyuubi inside you is healing your burns and other injuries sustained by the tags," Yami said. "Why do you need me and want me to do something for you?" "We need a champion, someone who can fight for us on Earth. We will bestow on you gifts from us both to help return the balance on Earth," said Kami. This person has to be pure of heart, strong, and someone who can change people, said Yami. So I am to be what, a savior for humanity? What am I supposed to do? All you need to do is help people and do what is right to help save the world, said Yami. Will I have to kill people? You will if that person that we deem a threat to the world cannot be swayed, Kami said. So I can try to change the person first, and if not then I have to kill them, he said in an unsure voice. Yes, but only those who are truly a threat to the world in the balance, said Kami with a matter-of-fact voice. Okay, I think I can do that. Do not worry, you will not be alone, there will be others to help along the way. Those who will make the journey easier and make your life better, said Yami with a smile. What do you mean? He said with a confused look on his face. Kami laughed and blushed at the look on his face while Yami smiled. He seemed to be made of funny looks. You will have friends to help you with your mission, and you will have companions to be by you always, said Kami. Companions? He said with another confused look. Mates or lovers, you know, female companions, said Yami as the boy turned bright red. You mean a girlfriend? He said in an embarrassed tone. No, not a girlfriend, said Kami. Oh. I meant girlfriends as in more than one or two, in fact there will be 6, Yami said. 6, he screamed. 6. He screamed loud enough for the two to hold their ears. Okay, that was loud. Yes, 6, Naruto. You know, like one more than 5 and one less than 7. It is okay, Naruto. We believe that it will be good for you to have these 6 young ladies. It is kind of like a way to set you in balance. What do you mean balance out? I don't understand what you mean. It is to balance out all the wrong that has been done to you. We believe these girls can help you in not only your journey but to give you the 2 things you have always wanted. A family that loves you and people that you can trust without a doubt. These girls will help to support you through your hard times and to give you what you want, people that love you for you no matter what. Who are they going to be? He stuttered out. We decided only to tell you of one of them, the one who has loved you the longest. She will be your first of many. But if you look at us, you will see something in us, or how we look, that is a characteristic of those girls. We will give you hints of these lovely ladies that will help you find them. Each of them has something they have gone through that is a reflection of what you have gone through. Not to the extent you have, but they will know your pain. They will help you to cope with what happened with you, and you will help them. Looking at the 2, he studied them, taking in the slightest things in the appearance, from their eyes to their hair to Yami's huge bust. Both girls were blushing as he examined them to AT. So you're saying that these girls I am to fall in love with are going to be like me in a way? That they will look in some way like you too, and that they are to be my lovers and wives? Yes, that is what we are saying. Wow. Lucky me. The 2 girls turned to each other and started to laugh. They were laughing so hard they were crying. Okay, now for your gifts. Gifts? You mean there are more? I thought 6 girls that, if I am seeing you 2 right, are the most beautiful of women in the world. What other gifts could I ask for? Yami stood there with a smile on her face and a light blush on her face. She licked her lips in a way that made Naruto shiver. Kami, on the other hand, had light up like a Christmas bulb and started to poke her index fingers together. Naruto stared at the motion and was hit with a memory of seeing a girl who did that same action every time he was near. He could not remember who it was. Back to the gifts. We have decided to give you 1 gift each and 1 together, and then we will tell you who your first love is and the clues to the other 5. Yami walked up to him and handed him a necklace. Naruto stared at the piece of jewelry. It was made of what looked like silver as it gleamed and twinkled. At the bottom it held a green stone with a spiral much like the one he wore on the back of his jacket. In the center of it held a red ruby. This necklace is very special. It has in it a special seal that can allow a being that are sealed out of their cage and give said being a body. The being will be under your control while the necklace is on it. No one other than you can control the being, and no one but you can take the necklace off. She stepped back as Kami stepped forward. In her hand was what looked like a 6-inch knife in its sheath. He took it, looking at the dinky knife. He was confused. All the gifts he could get, and he gets an antique cheese cutter. Unsheath it, she said. He grabbed the handle and pulled. There was noise like metal against rock. As the knife came out, it transformed. Naruto was in awe of the blade that now was held in his hand. The blade was about 3 feet long and pure black, with a line of red that spiraled from the guard to the tip of the blade. It had a white hilt with a lavender bandage wrapped around the top of it. The guard was clear. It looked like it was made of diamond, but looked like inside it held red flax like ruby shards. Only one thing came to mind when he looked at that: it's beautiful. He then placed the tip of the blade at the sheath and pushed. It made the noise again of metal on rock and slide home in the sheath. It was back to the appearance of a simple knife. It is called justice. It holds many secrets, and only you can unsheathe and wield it. It holds many powers which you will have to discover for yourself. It is unbreakable and has a will of its own. Treat it well and it will sever you loyally. Smiling, Cammy walked back over to Yami and stood next to her. Now for our last gift. We are going to remove all your scars from you and… No, thank you? What do you mean no? I would like to keep them. Why? I want them as a reminder of my life. These scars are like my life story written on my body. It is a life of pain, yes, but it is my life nonetheless. Are you sure that you want to keep them? When you leave here, you will have them forever. Yes, I am sure. Thank you, though. We got to come up with something else to give him? Okay, how about a bloodline limit? That sounds like a great idea. But what kind should we give him? I think I got it. Really, what? We'll give him a Dojutsu. Okay, but what will it do? How about something that can help his weaknesses? What's your weaknesses, Naruto? I don't know. I can't break or do genjutsu. That sounds good. How about we make it so you can see through all genjutsus and be able to cast them with them, but why not give it a little something more to it? How about we give it more bang? We can give it 2 more abilities, we don't want to overpower it. We can make it see in the dark no matter how little light there is. Yes, that's a good idea, and to see people's elemental affinities. Can you really do all that? Yes, close your eyes and be warned, this will sting. Closing his eyes, Naruto felt 2 hands cover his eyes, one was Kami's, and the other Yami's. He felt heat on his eyes, then they started to burn and sting. After several minutes, the hand moved away from his face. Opening his eyes, he felt a slight vertigo, making him feel dizzy for a second. Looking around, he noticed things were sharper, like the features of the girls. He looked over at Kami to see her holding a mirror out to him. Grabbing the mirror, he brought it to his face and saw his eyes and gasped. Staring at his eyes, he saw the difference. His left eye was white. Whiter than any cloud, and in it was a red slit down the middle. His right eye was the exact opposite, it was red with a white slit. He stared and then looked over at the 2 who had given him this gift and laughed. I only have one question. Does it stay like this all the time? No, it goes back to your normal blue, but it will be different. How will it be different? Change them back and you will see. Just concentrate on what they normally look like. Naruto closed his eyes and thought about what his eyes looked like. Opening them again, he looked into the mirror and saw his blue eyes, but as he looked, he noticed there was no pupil or white in his eyes, they were a solid blue. That's a change, but it could be worse. Can you 2 do one thing for me, please? I don't see why not. What is it? Can you put 3 tattoos on me? I guess. What do you want them? 1 over left eye, 1 under my right, and 1 on my right arm. Okay, what do you want on them? Under the right one, I want it to say hell in black, above the left heaven in purple, and on the right arm a picture of the 9 tails. If you could please. Here is the link to the picture of the QB he wanted. Yami took her hand and placed it under his right eye, and after a minute pulled away. Kami stepped up and did the same above his left eye. He looked into the mirror again and saw the tattoos and smiled. The 2 walked to him for a 3rd time, and he held his arm out to them. They grabbed it, and a light engulfed. He felt pain in the arm and was wonder why this one hurt, and the others did not. As they lifted their hands away from it, he saw a beautiful picture of the fox on his arm. Thank you for these. No problem. Okay. Now for your clues to your 5 unknown loves and the name of the one who you get to know first and has loved you the longest. Sarutobi was running to the monument at breakneck speed, trying to get there to see what exactly happened. Coming up on the mountain, he noticed a large number of people gathered around something on the ground. Running up to them, he yelled at the top of his lungs, "Move out of the way." Umbu set up a 30-foot perimeter around this area. As if coming out of thin air, 20 Umbu appeared. Jumping in front of the crowd, they started pushing back. After the crowd was about 20 feet away, the Hokage and his 2 Umbu guard walked up to what lay on the ground. The purple air Umbu saw what lay there and turned away. She could not bear to see so much meat. Sarutobi walked up and cringed. Lying there was what looked like a smoking body. It had no skin, you could see the muscle in some places, and in others bone black and burnt. Looking at it closely, he noticed that it had no clothes at all. Looking over at the purple-haired Umbu, he said, "Go to the top of the monument and search for any clues as who this could be." Hi Hokage-sama. She then jumped away. Who would do this to themselves? Said the other Umbu. I do not know, but I hope to find out in the next few minutes, said Sarutobi. Several minutes passed with no sign of the Umbu that left. As Sarutobi looked on at the body, he swore he kept seeing things change on it. Like on the bone he saw when he got it seemed to have disappeared under some muscle that was not there minutes before. If he did not know better, he would swear that the body was reforming. Then the purple-haired Umbu appeared in front of him holding what could only be clothes. She said in a sad voice, I found these at the top of the mountain, my lord. She handed him the clothes, and as he saw them in his arms he dropped them. On the ground the clothes fell, and he stared and said the only thing that came to mind, Naruto. Okay. Now for your clues to your 5 unknown loves and the name of the one who you get to know first and has loved you the longest. Okay, I'm ready, hit me, he said enthusiastically. Yomi raised her hat and whammy, she hit him full in the face. Kami looked over at her and was giving her a confused look. Yomi shrugged and said he did ask for it. Shaking her head, Kami walks over to the fallen Naruto and says, okay, your first clue is dango is my favorite food. What kind of clue is that? The kind that will help you find them. Now shut the hell up or I will hit you again. Okay, just don't hit me again. Your second clue is flowers are my favorite pastimes. Okay, dango and flowers. Your third, I swim with the ease of a fish. Okay. Your fourth, I travel with a demon in misty lands. And your final clue, I have been with you since the day you were born. Okay, that one made no sense. No one has been with me all my life. Those are your clues, remember them, and your loves will be easy to spot. Okay, we got a dangahalic, a flower power girl, aqua woman, a demon lover, a stalker, and my long loving mystery love. Sounds like a match is made in heaven. Oh wait, it was. Both girls laughed, and Yami said, that sounds about right. Sure does. Okay, so can you tell this person who has loved me the longest? Yes, we will, but first we want you to try to think of the one girl who has always watched you, always been nice to you. Naruto thought as hard as he could. He started seeing flashes of a girl with hair like Kami had and kept pushing her index fingers together, and was always staring at him with beautiful lavender eyes. He looked at Kami and said the name of the girl who loved him always, Hinata. They smiled at him and nodded. He started to cry harder than he has in his whole life, worse than any beating or any sadness, and said, I do not deserve her. She has loved me for so long and I never noticed. I just blow past her to Sakura. How can she love me when all I have done is ignore her? The funny thing about love is that no matter the pain you go forward in it, she will still want you and will do anything to have you. She will be your love among your loves. She will need your help though. How? I will do anything to help her, please. She is strong in many ways. She needs you to be her confidence to help her believe she can do anything. That is why she is perfect for you. She will help you in your greatest time of need in ways you cannot possibly imagine. I will do anything to help her. Thank you both so much for everything, but most of all for helping me see her. He walked up to them and hugged Kami, who blushed and turned bright red, and kissed her on the cheek before pulling back. Then went to Yami. As he hugged her, he leaned in to kiss her cheek and meet something softer. As he looked, he saw he was kissing Yami full on the mouth. Opening his mouth to gasp, he found that was a bad mistake as Yami slid her tongue into his mouth. Pulling away, Naruto blushed like crazy. What was that for? What do you expect? I have the treats of the more forceful of the women that will be his. It is in my nature. Okay, whatever. We are going to send you back, Naruto, but before we do that, there is some things we need to tell you. Okay, shoot. Pulling out a gun, Yami aimed. Before she could pull the trigger, Kami grabbed the gun and said, will you stop taking him in the literal sense, please? Naruto looked like he was going to wet himself as he looked at Yami, who just smiled and waved at him. The first thing we need to tell you is that when you get back to your body, you are going to hurt like crazy. Kind of figured that one out, but thanks for the warning. Secondly, when you meet and know for a fact that the woman you have found is one of your loves, you will have to bite them. What do you mean bite them? I mean sink your teeth into their flesh around the neck and push chakra into it. This will leave a mark. Well, I am biting someone, so it should leave a mark. No, it will leave a tattoo like on them, something of their choosing. They will have to bite you too. It will leave their mark on you, showing that they are yours. This transaction will give them a trait of yours and also raise their chakra reserves as well. It will also give you a connection to them, one that will help you find them no matter what and know when they are in trouble. Okay, anything else? Yes, a warning of sorts. Beware Orochimaru, he is the snake in the grass, the evil snake in the grass, and beware Akatsuki, the group is after you and your fellow Jinchuriki. They are some of the strongest of fighter in the world. You will have to grow very strong to defeat them. These people you must kill, most are unchangeable and must be done with. I understand. Good, then it is time for you to go back, and when you do go, and you can talk and are well, tell your Hokage that it is time for you to know the truth. He will understand. The door appeared behind the two again, and it opened. He looked at them as they started to go through and said, "Will I ever see you again?" "Not for a long time, we hope. We will be watching, so be good, and when you have the kids, name them after us." As the door closed, he could hear laughing. "Kids!" Then the white room started to fade to black and he felt pain all over his body, and then he opened his eyes. "Oh my God, Naruto. We need to get him to the hospital now," said Sarutobi. The purple-haired Umbu picked him up and started racing to the hospital. As she was running, she looked down and came in contact with solid blue eyes. She stared into them, finding that she was losing herself. She quickly snapped out of it and looked over at the Hokage and said, "He's awake. Dear God, how can he be alive, let alone awake?" The Hokage looked at Naruto and said in a clear voice, "We need to get him there now." Running faster than they thought possible, they jumped and made it to the hospital building. Going inside, the Hokage called for a gurney. When one came around the corner, the Abu placed him on it and stepped away as it was being pushed out of sight. Turning around to the Hokage, she waited for orders. He looked at them and said, "Dismissed." The other Umbu jumped away when the purple-haired one stayed and asked the Hokage as the mask worn by the Umbu came off and said, "Will he be okay?" "I do not know, Enko, I do not know." Elsewhere in Konoha, a girl with dark blue hair was laying down to sleep for the night. As she lay there, she thought of the boy she loved. With his unique blonde hair and blue eyes, those whisker marks are his cheeks that she would die to stroke just once, and the best part of all, his personality to go for his goal and never give up. To her, there was no other person she would rather be with, and had decided that if she could never have him, then she would rather die alone. As she drifted off to sleep thinking of her fair-haired love, she opened her eyes to see a room that was not her own. It was pure white with no other color in sight. She thought it might be an illusion, so she activated her Byakugan but saw nothing but white. As she deactivated her eyes and turned around, she saw a door open, and from the door came her Naruto. She was thinking it must be a dream like all her other ones. She was trying to figure out if it was one of the one that showed her life with him, or one of the dirty ones that made her wake up soaking wet between her legs. She was hoping for the latter. As she wondered which it would be, Naruto spoke, "Hello, Hinata." Hello, and Naruto-kun. "I am not your Naruto-kun, Hinata, I just look like him." "Then who are you, and why do you look like my Naruto-kun?" "Your Naruto-kun, huh? I am Kami." She blushed at what she said about Naruto, and looked at the great being before her in awe. "Why, you are Kami?" "Yes." "What would you have of me, your servant Kami-sama?" "What if I told you that I planned on Naruto dying in the next few minutes, and I was going to send him to hell?" "With a straight and stern face she said, I would ask you to do the same to me." "Really, you would do this for a demon?" With a confused look she asked, "What do you mean, demon?" "He is no demon, he is sweet and caring and has never hurt anyone." Kami smiled and said, "Inside of Naruto, held by a seal from the great fourth Hokage, is the nine-tailed demon Kyubi. It was not killed like you were told but resides in him. What do you think of your Naruto-kun now?" She looked at Kami and said, "I do not care. He is my one and only. I would do anything on earth for him to be with me, demon or not." Smiling, Kami said in a happy voice, "You will have him, Hinata, he will be with you, but you will have to deal with some things. If you want to be with him, you will have to dash." "I will do it," she said, happy as can be. "I have not told you what you will have to go through to have him." "It does not matter as long as I am with him. You will have to share with other women, some older than you. 5 other have been chosen for him. Will you still go to him?" "Yes. As long as I get him as well, I will go to him." "Then so be it. When you awake, get ready to leave. 30 minutes after you awaken, a person will show up to take you to the hospital. There you will have to save your love." "What do you mean, save what happened to Naruto-kun?" "You will see when you get there, but listen well. When you get to the room he is in, ask the Hokage and everyone else to leave. When they go, you must give him this." Holding up a ball of blue light, he handed it to her. "You must eat it now." She looked at him confused and asked, "How do I give it to him if I eat it?" "When you enter the room and everyone has left, you must bite him on the neck. This will transfer it to him. In return, he will bite you. This will heal him and also bind you two together." "So what will this do to me?" "It will make you Naruto's. You will belong to him, and he will be with you and love you. Needing no more stimulus, she grabbed the orb and ate it. She looked at him and felt something weird happen in her mouth. She felt around with her tongue and noticed her canines were much longer than they were before. Looking at Cammy for a reason, he said, easier to bite with. You must know that after he bites you, he will push chakra into you and some things will change on you. Like what? You will get a physical trait from him and your chakra capacity way above it is now, and you will want to be near him all the time. Okay, sounds interesting. One thing before I send you back. Your father will be against this whole thing. He will not want you to go with him, so tell him this, okay? That Naruto has a new bloodline limit, one that can strengthen the Byakugan so much that it could fair surpass the Sharingan. Tell him that and Naruto will be yours. To be with him I will do it. Okay. You must go now. He will need you. As the room faded to black, Hinata awoke. Looking around, she got up and showered, getting ready to go. Sitting on her bed after dressing, she waited when a knock was heard. Her father entered. Hinata, there is a Umbu outside who say you need to go to the hospital for some reason. She sprang up and ran outside to the Umbu. She got outside and found a Umbu with purple hair sitting there waiting. I am ready, take me to him. Confused, the Umbu said, how did you know it was someone needing help? Don't have time, let's go please. Grabbing onto the girl's arm and disappeared in a vortex of leaves. Sarutobi was watching as the doctors were walking around the boy checking stats and vitals. It was looking like he was not going to survive, but something weird had happening 10 minutes prior that made the old Hokage believe that he would survive. Flashback. Sarutobi walked into the room and said in a clear voice, states report. A man in a doctor uniform walked to the Hokage and said, we are doing all we can, but still he is fading. We can keep trying, but it looks like he is going to die. The old man's shoulders slumped and he said, just do what you can. Hi, Hokage-sama. Then out of nowhere a scream was heard. Hinata. The old man looked at Naruto to see him thrashing about screaming for the lavender-eyed girl. Hinata! 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 The old man looked at Anko and said, bring her to me now and say nothing of what is happening. Hi, as she disappeared. He turned back to the still screaming boy and said, she is coming. Naruto, calm down. But still he screamed. End flashback. It had been 10 minutes and still he screamed her name just as loud, if not louder than before. Looking at the screaming boy, he thought to himself, what is so important that you need her here now? All of a sudden Anko and Hinata appeared out of thin air in the room. Looking around and heard someone screaming her name, she looked over to the person making the noise and say, a burned up looking person. She ran to him as he was still screaming her name and said in a soothing voice, I am here, calm down Naruto, I am here, it will be okay. At those words he calmed down. Sarutobi was in awe at the calming effect she had on him. She looked over at the Hokage and said in a calm voice, I can heal him. What do you mean? I can make him better, but I need you all to leave, it's our secret, so please go. He looked at her and said, we cannot go, I am sorry. If you do not, he will die, and no long after I will as well. What do you mean? I am saying that if he dies I will kill myself, I swear it, Hokage-sama. And the last thing you will ever hear from me is my hate of you for letting my beloved die. I will not hurt him, I love him, no harm will befall either of us, so I beg you, as she dropped to her knees. Let me save my love. He stared at her eyes and knew she meant every word of what she said. Fine, you have 10 minutes. Ordering all the people to leave, the Hokage looked back at them, and Hinata said to him, can you put a seal on the door so no one can hear him? This is really going to be loud. Okay. After a minute she felt the seal go up, and she looked at his eyes that were now a solid blue and said to him in courage she had never had before, hello my love. He looked at her with a look of pain and said, I am sorry, I never noticed. She looked at him and smiled, it is okay. The past is that the past, from now on we will have one another. Now turn your head. He looked at her and did as he was asked. She said to him, this might hurt, that is why I asked for the seal. He nodded slightly. She went to his right side of his neck and said softly, with this we are together always. She then bit him hard, breaking the skin. She felt the power go through her and push out her mouth into Naruto's neck. He moaned and grabbed Hinata and pulled her to him. He said to her in a voice that sent chills up her back and tugged things in her chest and between her legs and said, my love, no my mate. And bite her on her neck. Hinata was in bliss, she felt herself tighten up and then release. It did it over and over again. She knew what heaven was like, she was screaming his name as his pants started to soak to the knee. He pulled away and held her. As she looked up into his eyes, she saw red and white. She smiled at him and said, "I love you no matter what." She then stood up and looked down at her pants and flushed red. Naruto looked down and saw how soaked she was and smiled. She blushed harder. He handed her his jacket and said, "Tie it around your waist." She did as he asked. She then looked at him. He was whole again, if no more so. His skin on his arms were without a burn and his face was also. She saw his eyes and just smiled at them. She traced the beautiful tattoos above and below his eyes. She then saw the one on his arms, and as she touched it, it glowed and also looked like its tails were moving. She looked at his hair and noticed a change in it. It had orange tips and was wilder. She looked at his face again and saw his whisker marks that were now more defined, and she reached out and stroked them. He started to purr into her hand and she smiled. As he moved into her hand, she said something on his neck. She leaned in and saw what looked like a tattoo of the leaf symbol in lavender. She touched, and when she did, Naruto grabbed her hand and growled. He looked down at his midsection and looked up at Hinata. She looked down to see that Naruto was erect, painfully so. He looked at her and said, "Please do not touch unless you are willing to quench the hunger of it." She nodded while still looking at it. Naruto reached up and touched where he bit her, and when he touched her skin there she grew hot, and she looked at him like her was the ice to cool her throbbing body down. She jumped on him and started to rub herself against his swollen manhood. Naruto groaned but stopped her. He looked at her and said, "You should look at yourself in the mirror before someone comes in." She looked at him confused and got up and looked at herself in the mirror. She gasped. She saw now that she had orange-tipped hair, her eyes were slits, and where Naruto bit her there was a leaf symbol in lavender. She stared at the changes and then smiled. "I am now closer to you, my love." "Yes, but you need to put a genjutsu on your appearance till we are together always." "Hold on, let me try something." He looked at her and channeled chakra in his eyes and imagined what she looked like before. When she looked at herself again, she saw she was back to normal, or what used to be normal. She looked at him and said, "Ready for company?" "Sure." She went to the door and let them in, saying it was okay now. They came in and gasped to see Naruto looking good, if not better than before. The Hokage looked at them and said, "Okay, what happened?" "I healed him like I said." "I see that, but what did you do, and why is he changed, like his eyes being solid blue and the orange in his hair?" "It must have had side effects. This is my first time doing it, so I had no idea what exactly would happen." "So you did a technique that you have no idea what would happen to the person it was done on?" "Yup, that sums it up about right." "What would have happened if he had died?" "He wouldn't have. The technique always works, that is what I was told." "Who taught it to you?" "Someone out of village, and I can only use it once, and that was my once." "Okay. So how did you know Naruto was hurt?" "I just had a feeling." "A feeling?" "Yes, something told me that Naruto was hurt, and that I was needed." That sounds interesting. What is your relationship with Naruto, if I am asked?" "He is my one and only. I told you that when I asked you to leave." "I remember. What about the tattoos?" "He's had those." "Those are some beautiful tattoos, Naruto. Where did you get them, if I may ask?" "I did them myself with the help of Hinata-chan." "Really?" "Yes." "So now on to the reason we are all here. Why did you do it, Naruto? What made you want to end your life?" "I cracked under the pressure of it all. Knowing of what I have inside me and the years of hurt and pain, I want to end it," Naruto said in a sad voice. Hinata was in tears hearing her love was so hurt. "If only I had not been afraid to come out and tell him, maybe I could have saved him the pain." Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and looked at the Hokage. "I had no idea that I was loved all along and that there was someone to save me." He looked at her. "Now she has saved me physically, emotionally, and mentally." He smiled and she smiled back. "I was weak, but now I will never weaken again." "That is good to know. Now get some rest. I will be back in the morning to check on you." "Okay, Aji-san. See you in the morning." As the Hokage left, Naruto looked at Hinata and smiled widely. She sat next to him and waited for the doctors to leave. When the last one left, she looked at him and said, "What now?" He smiled. "I have a plan." "Okay, but wait, Kami talked to me and told me everything. Like how you have a Dojutsu, the Kyuubi, and how you will have other mates, and I don't care as long as I am with you." He smiled at her. "Your father will never let me have you. He will make so I can never be with you and never see you," he said in a sad face, tears coming down his whisker-marked cheeks. She wiped them away and said, "Do not fret, my love, Kami has told me a way for us to be together." He smiled at her. "Really?" "Yes. He says that all I have to do is tell him you have a new Dojutsu and that if we were to have children that it would increase the Byakugan to far surpass the Sharingan. He said that my father would do it, no second thoughts." "That sounds great. What about the Dojutsu? What will we tell the Hokage?" "Tell him that it was a side effect of the jutsu." "Wow, that sounds perfect." "I know," she said with a knowing smile. "Hinata, go to your father and talk to him. Okay, the genjutsu will last for a few days, but I do not want to wait that long to be with you." She smiled and said, "Okay, but rest while I am gone. When I come here tomorrow, I will bring my father." "Wait, just tell him that I would like to see him, and that I know of a way to make the Byakugan the strongest Dojutsu ever, okay?" "Okay, goodbye, my love." "Bye," he said. As she left, he stared after her, and then slowly drifted off to sleep. Naruto awoke in a strange dream and looked around. He saw a few different cutoffs to it, but then saw one that was bigger than the other, and he heard a voice call out to him. "Come to me." Naruto, being the curious critter that he was, followed the voice. He walked through water that ranged from the bottom of his feet to his neck. He followed it till he came to an island in front of what looked like a gold jail cell. On the cell between the two cell doors was a piece of paper. On it said seal. It looked like it was holding the door closed. He walked to it, and was almost to the bars when two huge red eyes opened, looked at him. He stood there and stared at them without flinching. "Why do you not fear me?" "Why should I be?" "Because I am the fox that has destroyed millions on a whim. Whole countries have been destroyed by me, and you stand here without even a tremble. I have ruined your life, yet you do not scream of your hate for me. Yet why do you not yell and scream? First, you are sealed, I am in no harm, and secondly, I want to know your reason for coming to the village before I jump to screaming. You are rational for a human. I will tell you why." Naruto sat down waiting for story time to start. "I was off alone gathering food for my mate, and I had finished and was heading back when I saw smoke coming from our lair. I hurried as fast as I could. I came to it, and there was a fire going inside. I thought it was just my mate that made a fire to cook our food. As I walked in, I saw him laying on the ground burning." Naruto could hear the sorrow in the fox's voice. He felt bad for it. "I looked around in my fury to see if I could find out who did it. I found a leaf headband laying in a corner. I smelled it, and it smelt of snake so strong it made me sneeze. So I headed to leaf to kill this snake man and to hurt and kill as many people as I could. I wanted this village to suffer like I suffered. So I came, and every leaf ninja that came at me, man, woman, and child, I killed. I searched for the snake man but could not find him. Then a man came to me on top of the toad Gamabunta and asked me why I was doing it. I told him of my mate, and of the snake. He told me of a traitor to their village who looked like a snake and even held the contract to the snakes. His name was Orochimaru. The man then looked at me and told me he was sorry. He then started moving his hands, and a few seconds later I was in terrible pain. I looked up to see the Shinigami. He ripped my soul from me and placed it in you. I awoke in you in this cell and have been since that day." Naruto looked up at the giant foxes and said only one thing: "I am sorry." The Kyuubi looked down at this boy in awe. "Why do you say you are sorry? I have only caused you been since the day you were born." Naruto felt a memory come on at those words. Flashback. "And your final clue: I have been with you since the day you were born." "Okay, that one made no sense. No one has been with me all my life." "Those are your clues, remember them, and your loves will be easy to spot." End flashback. "May I ask you some questions?" "Yes. Anything you like." "What is your sex?" "Female." "Okay, that's a shock. Next, what is your goal now?" "To kill Orochimaru and to find a new mate." "What would you do if I said I could get you out the cage in me, but you would have to leave 7 tails of chakra behind for me?" "Anything. I would leave them for that chance." "Do you have a human form?" "Yes." "Will you please change into it now?" "Sure." As she said it, she started to shrink. Smaller and smaller she became till she was about a foot taller than himself. He stared at her and knew without a doubt in his mind she was his mate. She had long red hair just like Yami had in his dream. She had a huge bust and long luscious legs that disappeared into a short red skirt. The shirt she had on was barely containing the monster melons she had. He looked at her and kept peering around her and looking at her head. She gave him a confused look before asking her question. "What are you looking for?" "Your tails and ears," he said in a matter-of-fact voice. She smiled and turned around and pulled her shirt up in the back. On her back she had 9 beautiful tattoos of tails. As he looked at them, they seemed to move in a hypnotic motion. She dropped the shirt and looked at him, and then touched her ears on the side of her face and said, "These are my ears, silly boy." Naruto blushed. She smiled and said, "Anything else you want to know?" "No, but I do have a deal for you. Would you like to hear it?" "Okay. I have a gift from Yami that is a seal, but it can give you a body and get you out of me. There is a side effect though. You will have to do as I say. When I say something for you to do, it is like a collar. I will not use it unless you do something bad or the thing is of great importance. I swear that you now." "I accept." "Wait, there is more. I have 2 conditions. One is that you please leave 7 tails behind for me." "Okay, easy enough." "And 2, you must become my mate." Kyubi looked at him for a second. She just stared at him. He was strong, she knew that. Brave, courageous, and funny as well. She knew he would treat her like a gift from Kami. He looked good too, so it would not be so hard. She smiled at him and said, "Agreed, Naruto-sama. You will have to share me with 5 other girls." "I do not care." "Then let's seal the deal." He walked to the cage and slipped through the bars. He walked up to her and said, "I must mark you. Will you please turn your head to the right? You will have to bite me as well to seal the mating." She turned her head and walked up to her, and grabbed the back of her head and pulled her toward him. She growled and moaned at the same time. He bent her down and licked her neck, and she moaned louder. He then sank his teeth into her. Kyubi was in a whirlwind of feeling. She felt more turn on than she had in all the thousands of years of life, more than even with her old mate. She moaned and groaned from release after release. He let go, and the second he did, she grabbed him and latched onto him. She bit him hard and he just moaned. After a few minutes she pulled back. Looking at him, she saw his neck glow, then stop. On his neck now was a collar-like tattoo. It was red. She looked closer to see that it was 9 tails laced together, and she noticed one tail reached out and touched a lavender leaf symbol on his right side of his neck. He looked at her and noticed the change in her hair. She had blonde streaks in it now. He looked at her and said, "Here, put this on, but you can never take it off." He handed her the necklace and she put it on. It glowed and nothing happened. He walked out of the cage, grabbed the seal on the front of the cage and pulled it off. The doors opened and she stepped out when she crossed the threshold of the cell, and then Naruto felt a burning on his back. He turned around and pulled up his shirt. Kyubi walked up to him and pushed her hands on her back and then played with it. "You have 7 orange tails on your back, Naruto-sama." "Cool, that's neat." "Okay, it is time to go." Concentrating on waking up, he felt himself leave the sewer and woke up in the real world. Looking around, he saw that he was not alone in the room, or for that matter, in his bed. There was a lump by his feet moving up towards him. He lifted the lump to see Kyubi kissing his thigh and moving up to bigger and more sensitive things. "Stop, please, and come here." She looked up at him and then continued what she was doing. "Stop now and come here." As if on command, the necklace glowed and she stopped and went up to him. "I am sorry for using the necklace, but we have no time for fun right now." With a disappointed face, she bowed her head and said, "Yes, Naruto-sama." He reached out and took her chin. "I know that you want to play, but we have things to do. Okay, I promise that later when this is over we can play. Okay?" Smiling, she nods and says, "I cannot wait to have you, Naruto-sama." "Okay, now the business. I want you to go to my apartment and wait for me, okay? I will be there by tonight, okay?" "Yes, Naruto-sama, I will wait like a good mate should." He reached down and kissed her on top of her head. "Good, now go, company is coming and you should not be here." High as she disappeared into a swirl of flame. As if on cue, the door slid open and in stepped Hinata and her father Hayashi Hyuga. Hinata smiled a brief smile at me and then turned to her father. "Father, this is Naruto, and Naruto, this is my father Hayashi Hyuga." "I know who the boy is. What did you want to talk to me for, boy?" Every time Hayashi said boy, it sounded like he wanted to say demon. "Oh, great Lord Hyuga, I have asked you to come here for 2 reasons. 1, to ask you a few questions, and 2, to ask something of you." "Why should I answer your questions, boy? You mean nothing to me and no to anything you asked me for." He turned to leave when Naruto said, "What if I could increase the strength of the eyes of the Hyuga to the point that even the mighty Sharingan is but dwarfed by it?" Hayashi turned to the boy and looked at him with a calculating stare. "You know of a way?" "Yes, I do, but it will cost you something truly precise to your clan for it. I think it is well worth it." "What is it, boy? Tell me. I will give you anything to make my clan be stronger than those copiers." "I want to marry your daughter." Your heir to the clan. If you write up agreement saying that I can marry your daughter Hinata, I swear that your clan will gain this power. You want Hinata. Why she is weak and too frail? Why not Hinabi? 'Cause I want Hinata and only her. You give her to me and I will tell you the secret. Hayashi pulled out a scroll and started to write. When he was done he handed the scroll to Naruto, and he read it. He smiled and said in a happy voice, sounds good. He signed the agreement and handed it to Hayashi, who signed it as well and gave it back. Now tell me the secret. The deal is done and I want to know. You have made the first step to it now. I have in me now a new Dojutsu. When me and Hinata have children it will fuse in them, creating a new stronger Dojutsu with the properties of both ours. You lied to me, boy, you have no Dojutsu. The deal is invalid. Come Hinata, we are leaving this scum. As he turned around he saw Naruto standing there. Hayashi looked at him and activated his eyes and said, move or I shall move you. Naruto moved and Hayashi walked to the door. He reached for it to notice there was no doorknob. He searched around and found he was in a white room surrounded by fire. He placed his fingers together and shouted Ki. But happened. He heard a voice come from all around him. It was the sound of the demon. Not even your eyes can see through it. This is the power of my Dojutsu. I will deactivate it now. As he said it, the room turned back into the hospital room. He was staring at the boy's eyes. They had changed. His left was white with a red slit in it, while his right was the exact opposite. What else can it do? It can tell me your elements, and see perfectly in the dark no matter if there is light or not. I know you have two elements, water is your first, and earth your second. Imagine the Byakugan with these powers added onto it. Your clan would be the strongest in Konoha history. She is yours to do with as you see fit, he said as he turned around and walked out the room. I'm yours now, Naruto-sama. Now and forever. Smiling, she walked up to him, swaying her hips just ever so slightly. He only had eyes for her. Staring as she moved closer, he put his hand out and grabbed hers. He brought her close and said, I have never kissed a girl before and I want you to be my first in this and in all things. I can't wait, she said as her lips grew closer to his. He pushed up as their lips touched, and he tasted her. He knew what heaven was as he deepened the kiss. He pulled away from her, and when he did it felt tears run down his face. Why are you crying, my love? This is what happiness is. She then kissed him again, and knew things could only get better. So what now? Said Hinata in a happy, glowing smile. I have to show you something and tell you a few things. Which do you want first? Is it good or bad sight to see? Which is more important? The sight is bad. If I was going to say which one's more important, I would say the info. Then the news, please. I found one of my mate today when you were gone, he said in a careful voice. She looked at him for a minute. Okay. Is that all? She said in a calculating voice. No. She is at my place and waiting for me to come home. The temp in the room felt like it had dropped 20 degrees. She looked unfazed by the news, but it felt different. Who is she? You know how inside me is the QB. Well, yesterday after you left I fell asleep. He told her the whole story from going to the sewer to why the QB attacked to even the deal he made. The whole time she listened with no emotion on her face. When he was finished she sat by him and looked at her hands. I want to meet her. Okay, we can go together when I leave here. No, I want to talk to her alone first. Okay, if you promise one thing, that you will not hurt her and tell her that Naruto-sama says no fighting. Please do this for me. Okay, for you I will promise to you. Now I need to show you something. I do not want you to freak out if you saw it out of the blue one day. Getting off the bed he stood in front of her. Slowly he started to remove his gown. What could be bad about? As she said this the gown slipped from his body. He stood in front of her in only his boxers. Her eyes went wide as she looked at the love of her life's body. She saw the scars along his body, but what made her die inside were the words, the ones branded on him. She walked to him, stretched her hand out, and touched them. She could feel that they were shallower than the skin around and much rougher. He turned around and showed her the one on his back. Demon Fox, it said. How? She said in a sobbed voice. How what? How did you live with this? Through the pain? The hate? The suffering? I do not know. I felt like I just had to, like there was a mission that I had to fulfill in life. She grabbed him and pulled him into a bone-shattering hug. I will make it better. I will make you feel loved and wanted no matter what. He smiled. I know you will. After a few minutes he let her go and smiled again. The Hokage will be here soon. Go to my apartment and talk to her, okay? Okay. She kissed him and walked to the door. I will see you in a few hours, okay? Remember, play nice with her. Bye, my fox. Bye, Hinata. Naruto and Hokage. Naruto put his gown back on and climbed into his bed. He waited for the Hokage and thought about everything that had happened and what was to happen soon. He was pulled from his thoughts when he heard a door shut. Looking up, he saw the Hokage standing there looking at him. Smiling at the old Hokage, he said, "Yo, old man, what's up?" Smiling, the Hokage looked at him. "So how are you feeling, Naruto?" "I am okay, but there has been some changes." "What kind of changes?" Naruto smiled at him. "Nothing bad, just some eye changes and life changes." "I see your eyes are different, it is not that big a deal." "And what kind of life changes?" "Well, let me show you the other eye change and then I will tell you about the life changes." "Okay." Naruto waved the Hokage over and pointed at his eye. As the Hokage got close, he saw the change. His eyes were different, they were red and white and had slits in them. "What is it?" "I think it is a new Dojutsu." "Really? What can it do?" "It can cast amazingly strong genjutsus and I can see through them as well. It can see in the dark no matter how dark and little light, and also it can tell me the elements people are affiliated to." "Well, that is useful. Okay, so what is this life change you are talking about?" "First read this scroll." He threw the scroll he got from Hayashi to the old man. After several minutes of reading and rereading the scroll, he looked up to Naruto. "So Hayashi gave you his daughter just for the chance of making the Byakugan stronger. So what you going to do to her?" "That's a silly question. I plan to marry her," he said with a smile. "Really?" "Of course. That is not the problem, though." "What is then?" "I am planning to marry 5 others also, but I need to tell you who the next one I found is." "Why 5 others?" "'Cause with the Dojutsu and new one at that, the council will want me to have others. So I choose 6 altogether, Hinata being the first, and the other one I have as number 2. Knowing this was true, the Hokage nodded. "Who is she?" "Well, she has no real name, but I can tell you what she is." Being confused, he asked the only question he could. "Okay. What is she?" "Do not freak out. Just hear me out, please, before you go apeshit crazy, okay?" "Wonder what could make him go apeshit crazy?" The third Hokage nodded. "She is the Kyuubi." A panicked, and what Naruto could only guess was a apeshit crazy look came across the old man's face. "Wait, hear me out first. Let me tell you the story, okay?" Hinata and Kyuubi. Hinata walked through the village on her way to Naruto's. She knew the way by heart, so it was okay for her to think off. She was wondering what she was going to say when she got to Naruto's. How was she to stand up to a creature of such strength and power? She had reached Naruto's and was standing at his door. She knocked hesitantly and waited for the door to open. Nothing happened, so she knocked again. Still nothing happened, so she tried the door, and it opened. She walked in and looked around and saw no one. She walked around to everywhere in the house with no sign of life. She then walked into Naruto's bedroom and gasped. There on his bed was a naked red-haired woman. "Are you Kyuubi?" The woman stretched yes. "Who are you?" "I am Hinata and I have a message from Naruto." "From Naruto-sama, what is it?" "That you are not to fight with me." "Okay. Sounds easy enough." "I must talk to you about Naruto." "What about Naruto-sama?" "First, why do you call him Naruto-sama?" "I am under his control in a sense, and he is my mate." "Okay. Sounds fair. I need to tell you that he is my mate too. So I figured the mark on your neck shows it like the one on mine." She pointed at the tattoo-like necklace under the necklace. Naruto said he had given her that as a seal for him to control her and keep her in line. Hinata looked confused. "How can you see the mark? I have a strong genjutsu over it." "I am a fox. I am the queen of illusions. So I can see through them naturally." "Okay. Why are you wondering about being his mate?" "I just want to know why you choose to be his mate, and what you think of this all." "I choose him for many reasons. I think this is okay as long as I get him as well. I do not care who I share him with." "Please tell me your reasons. I cannot let just anyone be with him. He is my world, and if you hurt him, I do not care how strong you are, I will kill you in the most painful way I can." The cubey red eyes looked at Hinata's lavender white one, and she knew this girl would sacrifice everything to have her goal accomplished. How long have you loved Naruto-sama? Since the day he ran into me and my mother on a street when I was 3. He hit me while running away from a crowd of people. He stopped while still covered in blood to help me up to make sure I was okay. He told me he was sorry and told my mother that he was sorry for running into me. Why did you fall in love with him? He was so strong even with blood covering him. He stopped to help me and to say he was sorry. He was so kind to me and I thought he was just breathtaking to look at. She said this with a dreamy look in her eyes. Sounds fun. Would you like to hear my reasons or stay daydreaming? She snapped out of it. I would love to hear them. I have many reasons to have accepted to be his mate. He promised me revenge is one of the main ones. He is strong and that is what I want in a mate. Is that all? Do you not love him and want him to be happy? Those are my biggest reasons. I watched him from inside. Tears of scarlet were rolling down her cheeks. Did he show you the brands and the scars? Yes. You are so lucky. I saw it happen to him and could do nothing. He went through all this for a village who was supposed to see him as a hero. What did they do? They spit on their Hokage's dying wish. When they first branded him on his chest, I cried. When they did the other on his back, I cried harder, so hard that blood came out. From then on I told myself for penance for the pain I caused him that water was not good enough. From now on I would cry only blood and have ever since. Her eyes flashed to such a dark red that it was almost black. If he asked it of me, I would kill everyone in this village and burn it to the ground. I would lay them at his feet. I chose to agree to make up for the pain I have caused him, and because in my thousands of years of life he is the first thing I have ever loved. I understand. Then we have no problem. Would you like me to take that genjutsu off you? Yes, please. Naruto and Hokage. So that's the story, old man. Okay. So you are in control of her, and anything you say she does? She is also going to be one of your wives? She also came here all those years ago to kill Orochimaru to avenge her mate, which you are now her new one. Yes to all. Listen, you cannot tell the council. They will try to get me to use her as a weapon, and I cannot do that. Just say she is a missing Nin from another land that was betrothed to me at birth. I will ask her name tonight and give it to you. Just do this for me, please. Okay. I will do this for you, Naruto, but I need you to promise that she will not go on a rampage. I swear. Then no problem. So what now? Tomorrow you go and meet your team like you always do. I need to be switched to another team, Aji-san. Why is that, Naruto? Kakashi-sensei teaches me nothing. He only teaches Sasuke. He treats me like trash, like I will never be anything compared to his Sasuke. Sasuke only thinks of himself, not of the team, and is always bitching about power, while Sakura is his faithful bitch. She hurts me and our sensei does nothing but watch. Is this true? Yes. I am learning nothing. For someone who complains about leaving a teammate behind as a being trash offense, he does it to me and Sakura a lot. I see. I will do something about it tomorrow. You will get a new team and sensei. Thank you, Aji-san. When you get out, what are you going to do? Go home to my loves and talk and try not to get killed. The Hokage laughed. Sounds like a mission in itself. It will be. When you going to marry them? When I find my others. Why wait? I only want one wedding. It is too much to have 6. Sounds fair enough. So what now? I am going home to my ladies. Getting his clothes on and putting his knife in his pocket, he looked at the old man. I need to go to make sure they did not kill each other, and that everything is okay. Then I won't hold you up. Bye, Naruto. I will see you in my office at 12. As the old man left, Naruto thought about what he might have to deal with when he got back home. Naruto was walking home looking as happy as could be. He knew when he got home he would have 2 beautiful women waiting and in love with him. He was worried that he would come home and be viciously raped till he died or was out of fluids. As he walked, he saw the looks he was getting from the villagers he was passing. Looking at some full on in the face as they scowled and snickered, he smiled. He made it to his house and knocked on the door. There was a scuffling noise and the door opened. Hello, Naruto-sama. Naruto looked at her and smiled till he looked down. She was naked. Pushing her inside with a nose bleeding like a river. Why are you naked? I have no clothes, Naruto-sama. Okay, we will go get you some. For now, go put some of mine on, please. Yes, Naruto-sama. She walked into his room as Hinata walked out. Hello, my love, what are we going to do? Well, let me ask you, how did it go? We have an understanding and are growing to like each other. Sighing in relief, thank God, I thought you two were going to kill each other. I told you I would not. We have to go get QB clothes and maybe me some new clothes, and if you want you can too. Okay. Sounds like a fun day. When she is done getting ready we can go. They sat making small talk while waiting for QB to finish getting dressed. The genjutsu I put on you is off. What happened? QB took it off for me. How? She says as a fox she can do it. I'm ready. Coming out to be seen by the two. She was wearing a black shirt that barely contained her goodies. It was a mid-drift on her. She wore his orange pants that looked skin-tight, and his jacket tied around her waist. Okay, I guess that will do for now, he said with a trickle of blood coming down his nose. Let's go, shall we? Let's, said both girls at the same time. Walking around the village they came to a shop that looked interesting. Walking up to it they walked inside. The bell ringed above the door. Welcome, said a young girl with buns on the side of her head. What kind of store is this? The girl at the counter looked up. It's a ninja store. I never knew there was a store like this. How long you been here? Always. As long as I have been here. Do you have clothes here? We have clothes, weapons, scrolls, and we do custom clothes and weapons too. Cool. You two look around for some stuff you like, okay? I would like to talk to her for a few, okay? They both looked at him and smiled, just to talk, okay, and to ask questions. They smiled and walked off to look at the clothes. I want you to look at something for me, but if I show it to you, you may not tell anyone of it. Okay? Alright, but if it is a weapon, let me get my father, he will love to see it. She left for a minute and came back with an older man with graying hair. What can I do for you? I want you to look at a sword for me. Okay. Bring it out, and I will be happy to see it and appraise it. He brought from his pocket the knife and placed it on the table. The old man looked at him like he was crazy. This is a knife, son. Try to pull it from the sheath. He grabbed the sheath and the handle and pulled. Nothing happened. He tried harder and still nothing. Okay, is this a joke, son? No, not a joke. Watch and be amazed. The girl looked at him and thought, what are you, a magician? Naruto grabbed both sides and pulled. The two onlookers gasped. There where a knife once laid was a sword. That is an interesting sword, he said. He went to grab it. Do not touch it. It was too late. He grabbed it, and as he raised it he jerked. He dropped it and pulled his hand back. It shocked me. I am the only one who can touch it. Everyone else gets shocked. That must be useful. Can you pick it up and move it for me? Naruto picked it up and moved around slowly, showing him all of it. I have never seen its equal. I have seen some of the swords of the 7 swordsmen, and they are nothing compared to this. Where did you find it? I got it from a stranger. He handed it to me and said I was the one to own it and left. I will buy it from you. Name your price. Not for sale. Sorry, but you are welcome to look at it if you like. Just come get me and ask. He put the sword down. I am going to go look after my ladies and find some new clothes. Okay, do you mind leaving the sword here for me to look after? No problem. Naruto looked around and found his ladies, but he did not like the two he saw talking to his lady loves. Hinata was looking at clothes, looking uncomfortable, while Kiba stood there flirting with her. Kyubi, on the other hand, was looking rather pissed off as Sasuke stood there trying to touch her. I walked up to the two ladies and said, "Hey girls, did you find what you were looking for?" Naruto-kun. Naruto-sama. They said in a thank God type of voice. They walked to him and grabbed an arm each. Naruto smiled and noticed the pissed off look on both the guys' faces. What are you doing to my new girl, though? What are you doing to Hinata dead last? I was about to ask what you two were doing to my lovers. Lovers? Said the two. Yes, Hinata is my lover and is mine now, and Red is betrothed to me. Bullshit. Hinata is not yours. Hinata loves me and her father gave her to me. Ask her if you do not believe. Kiba looked at her. She nodded and said to him, I am Naruto-kun's Kiba. From now on I belong to him, and happy for it. How about you come with me, Red, and you can be with a prodigy instead of a loser? Why would I want to go with you? When I can be with a real man, not some cry-baby spoiled little boy. I will have you. I will go talk to the council and they will give me you to make me happy. She is mine, Sasuke. No one can go against a betrothal, not even you or the council. She will be mine, Dobe, no matter what. I am not your will I ever be or anything boy. I am my master Naruto's and only his. Sasuke moved to touch her. As his hand touched her, he jerked back and looked at it. You burn me, you bitch. He moved to hit her, but before it could hit, Naruto was there holding his hand. If you ever look like you are going to strike her again, I will let her kill you. She could never hurt me, I am much stronger than her. You are a fool if you think that, Sasuke. I just saved your life. Sasuke pulled his hand from Naruto's. You do not touch me, Dobe. I do not want your stupidity to rub off on me. Please leave my store and do not come back, said the voice of the girl's father. Sasuke was turning to leave the store. He saw the sword on the counter. I must have that sword, give it to me. I will pay you anything for it. It is not mine to sell. It belongs to that gentleman that you just told you would steal his lover from. He pointed at Naruto. You will give me that sword, Dobe, or I will take it. I will make you a deal, team. If you can hold that sword for 30 seconds without dropping it, is yours to have. How thanks for the sword, Dobe. He then walked up and grabbed the sword, but no more than 10 seconds later he dropped it back on the counter. It shocked me. Teach me to hold it, Dobe, or else. No, you lost. It will never go to you. I will have the council make you give it to me and teach me to wield it. With that sword I can beat him. As Sasuke was walking out, he turned and said to the owner of the shop, you will never get the business of the Uchiha again. He then left. Kiba looked at Naruto. Hinata is her own, she can be with anyone, she is not an object. She may leave if she wants, but I do not think she wants to. I want to stay with Naruto-kun, and am happy to be with him, and to be his lover. Kiba looked mad. Fine. Do what you want. He then walked out of the store without a backward glance. Naruto looked at the girl. So now that the drama has walked out the door, what have you ladies found? Kyubi looked at him. What was with the red thing back there? I do not know your name, so I called you Red. She smiled at him. My name is Alexandra. What a beautiful name. So Alexandra, find anything you like? Yes, I did, Naruto-sama. But I do not know if you can afford all we need, and I do not want to be a burden. No burden. Due to the fact that I only ate ramen for a while, only getting other foods when they were bad or thrown out. I have saved a lot of money up from it. So get what you like. Okay. She showed him what she had found. I will go try it all on and show you, okay? Hinata, come with me, we can try our stuff on and show Naruto-sama. Okay. She was pulled into the changing stall. Naruto sat there and waited. He kept hearing squealing and laughter from the stall, and it would shake at odd times. After a while the curtain opened, and out came the two most beautiful women he had ever seen. Alexandra wore a shirt of dark crimson that was loose yet tight around her chest. It matched her hair. She wore a pair of loose black umbu-style pants. She had on black fingerless gloves and her arms were wrapped up from wrist to elbow. She looked amazing. Hinata was, in his opinion, the more scantily clad of the two. She wore a fishnet shirt with a black undershirt. She had on short black pants on, they went a few inches above her knee. She had on her normal jacket over it, her headband was around her neck. His mouth was open in awe that so simple a change in clothing could make them look drastically different. He clapped his hands. You both look amazing. I cannot begin to tell you how much so. He then noticed that both of them were showing off their mating marks and he smiled. Alexandra smiled with a soft pink her cheeks while Hinata was a bright red. Thank you, they both said. Get a couple of each one of them while I pick out some stuff for me, okay? They smiled and went off to get the extra pairs. Naruto walked around to the men's section and looked around. He thought about going shirtless, but that would only freak people out due to his scars. So he decided on something tight and flexible. He decided on a black shirt with fishnet arms. He looked for a pair of pants that would be flexible and had plenty of pockets. Looking over at a rack, he saw them. They were dark blue and looked to be made of pockets. He grabbed them and put it over the shirt in his arms. He looked through some more clothing. That's when he saw them, a pair of gloves made of white leather. He grabbed them and tried them on. A perfect fit. He smiled and continued to look over the clothes. Finding nothing else he liked, he went to try on what he found. He came out of the stall and the two girls watched him. Hinata was blushing at the rippling muscles she could see thanks to the tight shirt, while Alexandra wanted to see more flesh. He turned around in front of a mirror and said, I like it. Why don't we go look at weapons and things to store? Okay, let's, said the girls together. They walked over to the part of the store that had scrolls for storing weapons from shuriken and kunai to swords and shields, and other wonderful ninja gear. Naruto went through the sword section looking for something to strap his knife to him, while Hinata went through the battle glove section. She was looking for something that could strengthen her Juken-style gentle fist. She found a pair of gloves that she liked made from a leather that could only be purple. She liked it, but she was going to see if she can get them customized, so she grabbed them. Alexandra was looking at gloves too, but she was looking for something specific. She could not find any, so he walked up to the counter and looked at the girl and her father, who were still admiring the sword. Excuse me? They kept looking at the sword. Hey! They both looked at her. Sorry, what can we do for you? Do you have any gloved claws? Gloved claws? Hold on. The old man walked into the back. She waited, hearing bangs and pangs as things fell. Goddamn hamsters. Looking kind of confused about why they needed hamsters in a weapons shop, she waited for him to come out. He came out with what looked like old shoe boxes. He walked to her and put the box on the counter. These are over 30 years old. We never sold them cause no one could work them well enough for them to be effective. Smiling, she opened the box and found a pair of what looked like regular gloves. They were red that matched her eyes. She grabbed them and put them on. They fit like they were made for her hands. She clenched her hand and they stretched. She then saw 3 seals between her knuckles. She channeled chakra into the seals and 3 claws came out of it. Nice. She smiled and said, I'll take them. How much? You can have them. Thanks. I will remember this. You have made my master's life easier. No problem. They are old and not popular with people these days. Naruto found a chain that was white. He grabbed it and liked how light yet strong it was. He put it around his waist with one part going out around his shoulder. He walked around with it and hopped. It felt comfortable. He decided to buy it. He figured he could hook the knife to the chain with ninja wire. He walked to the front and saw Alexandria talking to the man and girl. You find something you like? Yes, Naruto-sama. They say I can have it for free. Good. Thank you. It was no trouble. Hinata walked up to the counter with a pair of purple gloves. Can I get these customized? Sure. How do you want them modified? Can you put a metal at the edge of each finger that with chakra can be sharpened? Yes, we can do that. It will take a few days to be finished. That is fine. How much do I owe you for all this? He looked at all the stuff on the counter and started totaling up. It took him a few minutes to calculate it all up. It will be 30,589 ryo. Taking out his Gamachan wallet, he emptied it of all but a quarter of it. That should do it. I also need 1,000 shuriken and kunai. How much is it? For that, as long as you bring this sword around every once in a while, I will give them to you. Okay. You got yourself a deal. Smiling, the old man went in the back and brought out 2 scrolls, the blue and the other green. This one pointing at the blue one holds your shuriken, and this one pointing at the green one holds your kunai. I will also give these to you for free. He held out a bag. Naruto took it and looked inside. In it there was scrolls, a few books, and what looked to be a hamster. Okay, thanks for the scrolls and the books, but I am confused about the hamster. The old man walked over and put his hand in and grabbed the hamster. Sorry about that. The books are on ceiling to help you. Thank you, I appreciate it. Just bring that sword by every few months and we have no problem. You got it. Naruto turned with a girl on each arm and was walking out when he turned back and grabbed the sword and sheathed it. Almost forgot. He walked out of the shop with the girls and started walking home. When he realized he forgot to ask something. You two go on and head home, I forgot to ask something. I will catch up or meet you there, okay? They both looked a question at him but nodded and kept walking. He turned around, walked back to the store. When he walked in, he saw a woman at the counter. She had purple hair and a trench coat on. He walked up next to her and waited for the girl to stop talking to the woman next to him. He looked over to see her face and stopped breathing. She was wearing a trench coat, a fishnet shirt, was eating dango and had ample assets. He remembered what Yami looked like with her fishnet shirt, trench coat and bust. He also remembered dango is my favorite food. He stared at her, not seeing anything but her resemblance to the devil herself. Hey kid, what are you looking at? He looked up into her eyes, and as he did so she licked her lips. Oh, this is her, he thought. He smiled at her, just looking at one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life. She smiled at him and then disappeared. He felt her appear behind him and slid a kunai against his cheek. Blood began to well from the cut and slid down his cheek. She licked his blood and said, "Best I have ever tasted." He smiled at her and said in a straight voice, "Do you suck as good as you lick?" She smiled. "Wouldn't you like to know?" "I am willing to bet that one day that I will find out. I bet my life on it." She heard determination in his voice. He sounded so sure. She liked it. She remembered him. He was the exploding jumper. He did not look to have a scratch on him. It must be from the QB's influence. He looked at the girl across the counter and smiled. "I forgot to ask your name, and your father's." "My name is Tenten Hurtamura and my dad's name is Yamba Hurtamura." "Okay, thank you, Tenten-san." "Don't you want to know my name?" said the purple-haired woman. "How about I call you Beautiful Snake, or just Beautiful if you like?" Anko blushed. She was so shocked. She had been called hot, sexy, and many other things, but beautiful never, not even once. How did this little bastard make her blush when no one but that bastard ex-teacher of hers had been able to? He smiled and walked out of the shop. Yelling back, he said, "I can't wait to see you later, beautiful." He walked away from the shop and started to run to catch up with the girls. I will have to keep an eye on the kid, Anko thought. Naruto was running to catch up with his two new lovers when he saw someone sitting on a swing on the playground. He walked up to the person, and as he grew closer he noticed it was a girl. "Hello, Ino. Is something the matter?" She looked up at him, and that is when he noticed she was crying. She had thick trails of tears going down her face. "What do you want, Baka?" "I just want to know if you are alright. You seem so sad. You can talk to me about it if you like." "Why would I want to talk to a Baka like you? You who has never known real pain." He smiled at her. "Maybe you are right, Ino, but just cause I do not know pain does not mean I cannot help you." She looked at him, trying to find any trickery in him. She couldn't find any, so she began to talk. "If I tell you, promise you will never tell another, no matter what." "I swear." "I am alone, Naruto. My mother died a few months after birth, and my father blames me for it. He hits me for it, says if it wasn't for me his love would be alive." Naruto sat there and listened to her. "He hit me today so hard I think he broke a rib. He told me today after that he never wants to see me again. I have nowhere to go." He thought about it for a second. "You can come live with me if you like. It's not big, but you are welcome to it. I have very little in my life, but you are welcome to some of it." She smiled at him. That is when she noticed the changes in him. He had orange-tipped hair. It was also more wild. She looked him over and saw the tattoos. She saw the one that looked like a necklace. It was 9 red interconnecting tails. One tail went to the right and touched one that was a lavender print of the leaf symbol. She then saw the ones over and under his eyes, and lastly saw the 9-tailed fox tattoo on his right arm. She thought that they were the most beautiful tattoos ever and that they were perfect, and the one on his arm looked like it was moving. She then looked at his eyes and gasped. They were a solid blue, no whites and no blacks. They were beautiful. "I do not think that is wise. We are still young, and for us to share a place people will talk. You can sleep in the bed with the other girls if you like. I will take the couch." "Other girls?" "Yes. Hinata and Alexandra, they are living with me now." Hinata? Like from school? And who is Alexandra?" "Yes, that Hinata. And Alexandra is my lover in a sense." Ino was taken aback. Naruto, the loud knucklehead idiot, had a lover. "Wait, why is Hinata living with you?" "She belongs to me now and wants to be my lover too." "What do you mean belongs to you and wants to be your lover too?" "Her father gave her to me in a trade, and she loves me and wants to be with me." "It is good that she gets to be with you, but to share you, don't you think that is wrong? And for her own father to give her away for something, isn't that just as wrong?" "She does not mind sharing me with Alexandra, and it is okay. Her father was a bastard, but it probably hurt to be traded like cattle." "So they live with you?" "Yes, and they want to." "Okay, I guess it is cool as long as they want to." "So do you want to stay?" "Yes, but I have nothing to give you in return. Everything is at my house, or now it's my old house." "You do not have to give me anything. I just want to know you are not out here alone at night." "I will come stay with you then." "Okay, but first we got to go get your stuff." "We cannot go back to my house. My father will kill me." "Do not worry, we will slip in from your window, grab some things you need, and go. Okay?" "Okay, but let's do it fast." "All right." Yamanaka House and Flower Shop. Naruto and Ino were in front of the house/store. They were looking to see if anyone was there. To their displeasure, her father was home but in the shop. They walked to the back of the house part of the building, and jumped up to the balcony, and opened the window to Ino's room. Climbing through the window, they stood there and waited for sounds to see if her father was there. No sound came, so Naruto walked to the open door to the hall and closed it. Okay. Find what you need and let's go. Ino went around the room slowly and quietly, opening drawers and grabbing what she needed. 5 minutes later she said, "I'm ready." As they went to the window to climb out, they heard footsteps coming down the hall. Naruto pushed Ino out the window and shut it. He climbed under the bed as fast as he could and was under when the door flew open. Naruto stayed still as a pair of feet walked over and did what sounded like shut the window. The feet walked to the door, stopped, and turned around. Naruto thought that he must be looking around for something. Then the feet went out of the room and the door shut. Holy shit, that was close. Naruto climbed out from under the bed and opened the window. He jumped out and shut it again. He looked around for Ino and could not find her. He jumped up to the roof of the next house. He looked around and saw a hand waving at him from down the street. He jumped over and there she was. "Are you okay, Naruto? I thought you were going to get caught." "No problem. Did you get all you needed?" "Yes. Naruto, thank you so much." "Really, Ino, no problem. As long as I can help you, it does no matter." She smiled at him. She then walked up and hugged him. "Thank you." He hugged her back. "You're welcome." They separated from one another. "Come on, let's go to your new home." "Let's go then." Naruto's apartment. Naruto opened the door to his apartment. "Welcome home." When he walked in and looked around, there standing in front of him was Alexandra, naked as the day she was born. Naruto fell head first to the floor, bleeding from the nose. Ino looked at the woman who stood before her. She was a beautiful red-headed woman with dark red slit eyes. She had a long tan body with long legs and a killer rack on her. Ino was wondering why such a beauty was with Naruto of all people. The only things she could see on the woman's body was a beautiful necklace and a tattoo around her throat of what appeared to be 9 red interconnecting tail, much like Naruto had, but she did not have the lavender leaf symbol on her right side. Why is that woman naked, Naruto? I do not know. I bought her clothes today, and she is not wearing any of them. Alexandra walked up to him and grabbed his head. "Naruto-sama, I wanted to be ready for when you get home. Go put some clothes on, please. We have company, and anyway, Hinata will be my first." Hinata walked in and looked at Alexandra and Naruto. "I'm first at what, Naruto-kun?" Ino saw Hinata and gasped. She looked so different. She had on a very mature outfit on. It showed that she was more developed than most the girls their age. Her hair had orange tips like Naruto's did. Her eyes were more like slits as well. She had a tattoo on her right shoulder of a lavender leaf symbol just like Naruto. Naruto turned scarlet. "When it is time for my first time, Hinata-chan, you will be first." Hinata turned bright red and then passed out. Ino was looking at her and was kinda shocked at what she would be living with. "Who is this, Naruto-sama?" "This is Ino. She will be staying with us for a while, so be nice." "Yes, Naruto-sama." "Can you stop calling me Naruto-sama and just call me Naruto?" "I can call you master if that is better." "No, Naruto-sama is fine, I guess." Hinata woke up and looked over to see Ino standing there. "Ino, what are you doing here?" "I am going to be living with you all for a while." "Okay, where are you sleeping?" "You girls will sleep in the bedroom and I will take the couch." "I do not want to be a burden on your lives, I can go." "No, you are no burden. Stay, it is okay. I do not mind the couch, and the more the merrier." Ino walked to the bedroom and put her bag down. It was a small apartment, but it was a place to live. He walked over to a drawer and opened it. He started taking stuff out. After doing it to 3 altogether, he said, "You can each have one. If you need more, tell me. Okay?" They all nodded. They then started to put away their stuff. Naruto smiled as he watched them put stuff away. He walked out of the room and into the bathroom. "So Ino was it? Why are you here instead of at home?" Ino looked at her. "My father kicked me out." "Okay. So why here?" "Naruto found me crying and he talked to me. I told him, and he offered me to stay here. I said no at first. He then kept talking and insisting, so I said yes. He helped me get my stuff from my house." "Sounds just like Naruto-kun," Hinata said in a dreamy voice. Naruto walked into the room. "Okay, ladies, I am going to get some sleep. I will see you in the morning." "Good night, Naruto-kun." She walked up and kissed him lightly on the lips. "Night, Naruto-sama." She walked up and grabbed him and kissed him hard right on the mouth. Naruto kept his lips shut. No matter how hard she tried to get in, she could not. Good night, Naruto. Night, my loves. Good night, Ino. Sweet dreams. He left the room and went to the couch. He laid his body down and looked at the ceiling. He thought about all that happened today. As he drifted off, he saw a light blue like Yami's eyes. He then passed out. The next day, Naruto woke up to a weight moving on his chest. He touched it, and it was so soft. He then squeezed it, and a moan came out. His eyes flew open at that, and the first thing he saw was red. He turned his head to see a naked red head sleeping on him. Alexandra, wake up. Why are you naked laying on me? Good morning, Naruto-sama. How did you sleep? Why are you on me naked? I thought you could use the company and that you might be cold. Please get off and get some clothes on. Yes, Naruto-sama. As she walked back, she swayed her hips. Naruto started to drool a little. Alexandra turned around and smiled. You can have me, just say so, and I am yours, master. He wiped his mouth. You are beautiful and I would love to, but Hinata will be my first. I told you that. I know, she said in a sad voice. He walked up to her and grabbed her chin. I care for you, but I promised I would do everything with her first. I love you. He stared at her. I thought you only wanted me for revenge, to kill him. She was in tears, looking into his eyes. I have loved you for so long, but I was afraid to tell you. I do not want to be alone, and you are the first thing I have ever loved. She hugged him to her tightly. He stroked her back. Tell me you will not leave me. Tell me you love me and want me, please. I want you. I care for you. I have not known you long enough to love you, but I am sure I will one day. I swear I will never leave you. She cried into his arm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, master. I promise to be your best wife ever. Just don't leave me. I will never leave you. So no more tears. Okay? He kissed her on the forehead. She smiled. Yes, master, no more tears. Go get dressed. Yes, master. She walked back in the room and shut the door. He walked back to the couch and laid down. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he felt something on his lips and was staring at lavender eyes. Hello, Hinata. Good morning, Naruto-kun. He sat up and looked around. On the table was eggs, bacon, and pancakes. Where did this come from? I went to see my father to get my things, and on the way home I saw an open market and bought all this with some money my father gave me. That was nice of him. We'll send him a thanks, and also one more thing. He stood up, grabbed her, and brought her into a passionate kiss. He licked her bottom lip and nipped it as well. She opened her mouth, and he slid his tongue in her mouth and explored it. He swore she tasted of sweet wine. Hinata moaned. She was feeling a whole new feeling, something that made her heart pound harder than ever and made her lower extremities tingle. She pushed her tongue into his mouth and explored his mouth in return. She tasted like ramen and mayo. They stood there and kissed and held one another for several minutes. Naruto? Naruto turned to the voice and saw Ino staring at them. He smiled at her. Hi, Ino. Good morning. What's up? I want to know if I can borrow some kunai and shuriken? Sure, hold on. He left the room and went to the back and found the scrolls. While there, he grabbed a change of clothes. He came back to the kitchen to see them sitting down and eating. He smiled and walked up and kissed his two on the head and then walked to Ino. How many of each do you need? Just 10 kunai and 30 shuriken if you can spare them? Here. He channeled chakra into the scrolls and out came the number she needed. He handed them to her and walked to the set next to her and sat down. He pulled a plate to him and started to eat. After breakfast he got up and looked at the time. It was 9, so he still had time till he had to meet the old man. He decided to just sit and wait for his appointment. As he was sitting down, Ino and Hinata walked by. Naruto, we are leaving to go to a training grounds. I'll see you too when you come home. Bye. He got up and kissed Hinata and ushered them out the door. He went sit back down when he heard a knock at the door. He walked over and opened it. There stood a Chunin looking at him with what only could be disgust on his face. You and your female friend are wanted before the Hokage and the council. Naruto looked back at Alexandria and said, we're being called. She smiled a foxy smile. We cannot disappoint, can we, master? She got up from the table and walked over to him. She put her hand on his shoulder. He then looked at the Chunin. We will meet you there. He then shut the door and locked it. Let's go. And as he finished the word go, they disappeared in a swirl of fire. The council chamber. They were arguing when a swirl of fire came into existence in the room. Out of it stepped the boy and a beautiful red-headed woman. You rang, said Naruto in a dull voice. You will show respect to this council boy or you will do time with the Biki. I am not afraid of torturer, he said in a straight face. We have called you from news of your new Dojutsu and also complaints from Sasuke Uchiha, said Koharu. What about the Dojutsu and what is Sasuke bitching about now? A few of the clan heads snickered. Some openly smiled while those on the civilian side of the council gave him death glares. Alexandra laughed at what her master said. What are you laughing at, woman? Said a pink-haired woman. I am laughing at what my master said about your Tubid Uchiha. The pink-haired woman looked furious. How dare you some whore talk about the great Sasuke like that? Other members of the civilian council nodded in agreement. Cutting off the talking from the pink-haired woman and the civilian council, Koharu said, Show us this Dojutsu. Naruto smiled. I already have. What do you mean? Said one of the civilians in the room. Watch and see. As if at his command the whole room turned pink, then blue, now it was orange. The ninja on the council tried to dispel the genjutsu. Loud cries of Ki sounded from all over the chamber. Deactivate it please, Naruto, said the old Hokage. At his words the room went black, then was back to normal. There, sitting in a chair in front of the council with the woman on his lap, was Naruto with his two different color eyes with slit pupils. It's from the demon. It's evil, screamed a councilman. What demon? Hokage-sama, what is he talking about? He said in an I don't understand type of voice. I hope someone is not breaking a certain law, said Sarutobi. The councilman sat down with a pale face. Naruto smiled. I have no idea how this happened. It could be a change from me healing from my swan dive from the monument. You should have died, monster, spat the pink-haired woman. You're right, but I guess monsters just don't die, huh, Lady Haruna? The woman looked pissed. Naruto just smiled at her. What is the name of your Dojutsu? Asked Koharu. It's called the Psychigan. What else can your eyes do? He looked at the old man who was bandaged on his face and had only one arm. He did not like the even tone this man had. This man was not one to be messed with easily. Who are you, if I may ask, sir? I am Danzo. My eyes can see in the dark no matter if there is light or not. They can also tell someone's element affiliations. Like yours, Danzo is fire, earth, and wind. Danzo looked at the boy with interest. I can use him. He could help me reach my goal. I must have him en route, or he must die. Danzo spoke up. I think he should give me the boy Sarutobi. I can train him to use his eyes, make him stronger than ever. No, Danzo, he will not be one of your root. Danzo looked pissed even with a straight face on. Then we must kill him. How do we not know he will turn those eyes against us? There were sounds of agreement from the civilian side of the room. Danzo-sama is right, he is a threat, said Lady Haruna. Silence, he is no threat to us. He is a loyal ninja of Konoha. The room grew quiet at the Hokage's orders. I agree with Hokage-sama, said Heishi Hyuga to the shock of the entire council. The boy is no threat to us. The other clan heads agreed. Then a vote. All those who wish for the boy to die raise your hand. About 10 people raised their hand, including Danzo. All those against 11 hands raised he lives. Some of the council looked pissed but thought they would get their revenge with what happened next. Now on to the Uchiha's complaints, said Koharu. Sasuke Uchiha says that woman denied him her body due to the fact that she is betrothed to him, said the Haruna while pointing at him. He may not have her. She is mine. She is my betrothed, and no one, not even the council, can null a betrothal unless made in the village, said a determined Naruto. Hokage-sama, said an annoyed Haruna, she is the first woman he has ever been interested in. We must give her to him to bring back the mighty Uchiha clan. What about what she thinks? Said Sarutobi. The whole council looked at the woman. You could be the first wife of the Uchihas. You would have power, money, and rights that most would dream. If you stay with him, pointing at Naruto, you have nothing and be nothing, said the Haruna with the support of the civilian council. She is probably right, you know, Alexandra, said Naruto. I have nothing but what I can make and work for. You would have a better and easier life with Sasuke, he said with a smile. I do not care. I want you, my master. My one and only love. No one can replace that, not money, power, or rights. You are my everything, Naruto-sama. If they forced me to go, I would kill the Uchiha when he touched me. Shocked at what this woman had given up. It is decided. She stays with Naruto. But Hokage-sama, he no buts, they are to be together. Fine, but the sword he wields must go to Sasuke. He does not deserve it, only Sasuke should be given it. I already made a deal with Sasuke that if he could hold it for 30 seconds it was his. He dropped it after 5. Only I can wield it anyways, no one but me can unsheath it, and if it happens to be unsheathed no one can hold it with OK getting shocked. You will teach him to use the sword or else. I cannot teach him. There is no teaching, you can either hold it and use it or not. Show us the sword, said the Hokage. Okay. He pulled out his little knife and grabbed both ends. Out of nowhere a sword appeared. Danzo was looking at it as if it was a key to the heavens. I must have it, he thought. If you can hold it for 30 seconds then it is yours, but you get only one chance. Every one of the council civilians came and tried and was zapped and dropped it within 5 seconds. The Hokage walked up and looked at the sword, he then picked it up. Nothing happened. Naruto smiled. 30 seconds passed and Naruto laughed. It is yours to do with as you see fit, Hokage. Give it away or keep it, it's up to you. Hokage-sama, give it to Sasuke, he deserves it, not that things, said a small man in the back. The Hokage smiled and handed it back to Naruto. It is yours, Naruto, but I must say it is beautiful. Thank you, Hokage-sama. He bowed. If that is all, may I leave, please? Yes, you may, Naruto, but if you could please go wait in my office for a little bit, we have things to discuss. Hi, Hokage-sama. He and the woman bowed and left. Minutes later, in the office of the Hokage, Naruto sat in the Hokage's chair going side to side. He looked over at his company in the room and smiled at her. God, he takes too long. Alexandra smiled. Patience, Naruto-sama, he has lots to deal with for the good of this village. Naruto frowned but nodded. You're right. I will try to stay calm. At that moment the door opened to the room and in stepped the old Hokage. He looked around to see Naruto sitting in his chair and the woman Alexandra lying on the couch. He smiled at Naruto's antics. Okay, Naruto, we got to talk about your team and also about Alexandra. Naruto got up and walked to the other side of the desk and sat in the chair across from the Hokage. Alexandra stood from the couch and sat right next to him. The old man sat in his chair and looked at the two. Alexandra had Naruto's hand in hers. Alexandra, I know what you are. I need to know what you are going to do now. Whatever my master bid me. So you are under Naruto's control. Yes, if he wanted to, he could force me to do anything he wanted, but he doesn't. He gives me free will, that is why he is my master and the man I love. I do not use my control on her unless I have to. She is important to me and I do not wish to force anything from her. Do you swear you have no ill will against this village? Oh, I have ill will. If my master would let me, I would lay waste to your village, killing every man and woman in it to lay at his feet for the pain it has caused him. He does not want that, so I go by what my master wishes. You have no worry of me unless he changes his mind, then nothing will stop me. So as long as Naruto does not will it, you do not do something? Yep, that right, she said, squeezing Naruto's hand tight and smiling at him. He smiled back his foxy grin. Do you have ninja skills? Yes, I do. I am not as strong as I once was, though. I left 7 tails in Naruto-sama and only have 2 now. How strong would that make you then? I would say about your level in your prime, maybe a little weaker. The old man was shocked. With only 2 tails she was as strong as him in his prime. He then looked at Naruto. He has 7 tails. He will indeed be powerful and strong. I am going to make you a jounin, but you are going to be Naruto's bodyguard, so where he goes you go. Alexandra looked happy. So I get to be with him always. She was smiling and looked to be jumping in her seat. Now back to the team business. There was a knock on the door. Come in. In walked Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura. Hokage-sama, you wish to see me and my team. Sasuke looked over at Naruto, and he did not look happy. Yes, Kakashi. I have a few questions for you and your team, he said in a straight and serious face. Hi, Hokage-sama. My team is at your disposal. Sakura Haruna. What have you been taught by your sensei? Sakura thought about it for a minute. He has taught us teamwork. The Hokage nodded. Then he looked over at Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha? What have you been taught by your sensei? Sasuke looked over to Kakashi. I asked you what you learned. Do not look at your sensei. We learned teamwork, he said in a low tone. Is that all you learned from him? Is there nothing else? Yes, that is all. Teamwork Kakashi, that is all you have taught these two. I know the Uchiha is lying, you have been training him privately. Why are you training him more than the other two? I think of the three he is the most important, and has the most potential. The other two should stop now. How would you know if we have talent? You have taught us nothing. In a month's time you taught us teamwork, and in that month you became a hypocrite by abandoning us. Kakashi looked over at Naruto. The boy had a point, but still he owed it to Obito to make sure his kin was strong. Kakashi, you are relieved as the sensei of Team 7 and are not to teach the Uchiha anymore. Hokage-sama, I still wish to teach the boy. I must. I want him to teach me, he is the best there is, and I want him to teach me, said an extremely pissed off Sasuke. You have failed as a teacher, Kakashi. Your sensei would be ashamed of you, and so would your teammates. I plan to reform the teams and appoint a new sensei for the new Team 7. You are dismissed, Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi looked like he wanted to argue some more, but he turned and left the office without another word. The Hokage pressed a button on his desk. A minute later a secretary came in. Yes, Hokage-sama? Call the other two teams' new rookie teams to my office and send for Anko. Yes, Hokage-sama. She walked out of the office and shut the door. There was a silence in the room for over a half an hour. Naruto sat and talked to Alexandra, the Hokage was doing paperwork, Sasuke was brooding, and Sakura like always was asking Sasuke out on date and professing her love to him. When the door opened and in came the other rookie teams. You wanted to see us, Hokage-sama, said Asuma. Yes, but we have to wait for the new Team 7 sensei. The other senseis looked at the Hokage in shock. What do you mean, new sensei? What happened to Kakashi? Asked a confused Kurenai. He has been removed as a sensei, due to his own incompetence. Why are we here if they are just getting a new sensei? Asked Asuma. You will find out when she gets here. They stood there and waited a minute when a swirl of leaves came out of the floor and in came a purple-haired woman. Naruto smiled. Hey, beautiful. Anko looked over to him and scowled with a slight blush on her cheeks. Alexandra and Hinata did not look happy at all. They were staring at Anko with killing looks. You wanted me, Hokage-sama? She said in a confused voice, looking around seeing 9 kids with Kurenai and Asuma. She looked at Kurenai and looked a question at her. Kurenai just shrugged and smiled at her closest friend. Yes, I am giving you a new mission, he said to her in a stern voice. Hi, I am ready, Hokage-sama. You are going to be the new sensei of Team 7. Anko was confused. Who would let her teach children? The council would never let this go, they still think I am a traitor. Who would let me teach their children? Hokage-sama, I will accept. Who would let me teach their children, sir? I would love her to be my sensei, said Naruto with what seemed to be a true smile. Anko looked at him and shuddered at the look he gave her, but she felt good that someone would like themselves to be taught by her. Since the new sensei is here, we can talk about the new team setups. To his understanding, people were surprised. Hokage, what do you mean by new team setup? I am changing the teams up. The Ino Shikucho team is amazing, yes, but if someone fought the original team up, then they might have come up with a way to defeat them. So it is time to switch it up a little and try some new things. The Hyuga, Aburame, and Inuzuka are a well-known combination for Konoha, so someone most likely has found a way to neutralize it. The two Jounin senseis were silent for a few minutes thinking. That sounds like a good idea, this will ensure the variety in the teams to make it harder to calculate them, said Asuma. He looked disappointed that his team was going to change. He was learning to like them, and even cared for them. Kurenai looked at her team. She liked them a lot and did not want to part with them, but she knew the Hokage was right. If switching them up with a new team would increase their chances of survival even by a slight margin, then it was worth it. The Hokage looked over at the teams and the senseis nodded in understanding. Okay then. Naruto, you are going to stay on Team 7 with Anko. Naruto smiled at Anko with an knowing smile. Hinata, you will be moved to Team 7 as well, and Sasuke will take your place. Hinata was happy and smiled that she would be on her love's team, but frowned right after. She looked at her sensei with apologetic look in her eyes. Kurenai just smiled, happy that her student got to be with her love. She then looked over at her teammates and had the same look. Shino nodded to her without an emotion on his face, while Kiba looked mad. Ino will be transferred to Team 7 and Sakura will take her place. Ino's heart was fluttering and she had no idea why. She looked back at her team and smiled. They smiled right back at her. So the teams are as follows. He looked over at Kurenai. Kurenai will be the sensei for Team 10 with Sasuke, Shino, and Kiba. He looked at the three and then back at their sensei, and she nodded. He looked over at Asuma. Asuma will be sensei of Team 8 with Shikamaru, Choji, and Sakura. Asuma nodded. He then looked at Enko. You will be the sensei of Team 7 with Ino, Hinata, Naruto, and Alexandra here will be your backup. Why does that worthless team of weaklings get senseis? I deserve to have her for my private sensei. Because I want them to. She is not a sensei, she is Naruto's guard, but she happens to teach them something that is okay too, he said, smiling. Why does he get a private guard when I, the last Uchiha, do not? Said Sasuke in an outraged tone. Do you want a guard that will be with you all the time? I can give you one if you want it so bad. I want her as my guard and no one else. Sorry she is taken, but I am sure the old man can give you a beautiful guy to grope and touch if you like, Naruto said with a matter-of-fact voice. Sasuke looked ready to jump Naruto. Naruto just smiled as there were a few smiles in the room and some looked to be holding back laughter. Alexandra, though, was laughing loudly. Sakura was giving her the death glare or trying to. Do not laugh at Sasuke, he is better than the retard you have to guard. The room's temperature dropped. What did you say about my master? It was said in the most evil and disturbing way possible. Sakura looked confused. What? Did you just call him master? Yes, that is what he is, my master. If you ever say something bad about him again, I will kill you, especially if you say that worthless nothing of an Uchiha is better than my master. Naruto chuckled. Calm down. Please, Alexandra, I do not care what some fangirl thinks of me. Master, I will not have her think you are worse than that worthless bastard, she snarled. He walked up and grabbed her chin. It is okay, let her think what she wants. She was about to argue when he leaned down and kissed her. Her face changed to one of happiness for the affection she was getting. He pulled away from her, and she followed to try to get more. He put his hand and stroked her cheek. Maybe later. Yes, my master. Sakura had a scared and confused look on her face. How could Naruto have this girl so entrapped in him that she called him master? He must be controlling her or something. Alexandra looked at Sakura and said in an even tone, "Thank my master, he just saved you." Sakura was about to say something when Shikamaru grabbed her arm. Just do not tempt it. She looks like she means business. Troublesome woman. If we're done with these unneeded interruptions, then we can continue. He looked at Naruto, Sasuke, and then Sakura, who said nothing. You are to get acquainted with your new team and teammates, then tomorrow you will start your missions together. Until then you are dismissed. Hi, said everyone in the room. They all walked out of the office. When they reached outside, Enko turned around and looked at her team. Meet me at training ground 44 within a half an hour or else we are having dodging practice, she said with a creepy smile. She then turned around and disappeared. Naruto grabbed onto Ino and Hinata and held them close. Hinata and Ino turned red. He then touched Alexandra's hand and said in an amused voice, "Do it." Yes, master. They all disappeared into a swirl of flames. Training ground 44, Enko sat in a tree and waited for her team. She thought about her team, her first real team. She was happy about having it, but not so happy about whom it was. That Naruto really was strange to her. He was confusing and made her feel like she had not in a long time. He had a bodyguard who called him master, and the Hinata girl seemed to like him. She was still thinking when a flash of fire appeared in the clearing in front of the fence into the forest. What the hell was that, Naruto? Screamed Ino, who was dizzy and having a hard time standing straight. It was a shushin of a different kind, he said nonchalantly. Ino looked pissed while Hinata was stumbling around. Do not do that again without telling me, okay? Naruto smiled and bowed to Ino. Sorry, Ino-chan. Ino blushed. Did he call me Ino-chan? Why do I care? He is only a nice boy, he is nothing but a normal boy. I love Sasuke and I do not care about Naruto. Why am I blushing though? Naruto looked around for his new sensei. He spotted her in a tree. He walked up and jumped up and walked to her. Before he could get closer, she swiped her leg out and he tripped. He fell through the branches of the tree and hit the ground right on his butt. Damn it. He smiled up to her. Don't try that again, Blondie, or you are going to be much more holy. I want you four to gather around me and tell me about yourselves. Names, favorite colors, I don't care, just tell me about you. When you are done with that, tell me what you want to learn from this and what you already are good at and specialties. She looked at the group and pointed at Hinata first. You pale eyes go first. Hinata looked around and then started to talk. My name is Hinata Hyuga. My favorite color is lavender. I love my boyfriend and cannot wait to marry him. She looked at Naruto, who was smiling at her, and blushed. I live with Ino, Alexandra, and him in his apartment. I love to dance and can sing okay. I hate people who judge people for what they cannot help but happened and those who view by someone's status. I hope to one day stop the use of the caged bird seal and set the branch family free. I want to learn more ninjutsu, to change the Juken style to better suit me, and increase my low chakra reserves. My specialties are my family's taijutsu style, medical tasks, and chakra control. She smiled and did not continue. Good start. Now you Willow. Everyone looked around and wondered who she was talking to. You. She pointed at Ino. Ino looked upset. Why am I Willow? Cause you look like as a willow tree. Still looking mad, Ino started her little speech. I'm Ino Yamanaka. My favorite color is purple. I live with Naruto and the other two like Hinata said. I love flowers, they are me favorite pastime. At this, Naruto's eyes opened wide when he remembered something. Flashback. Your second clue is flowers are my favorite pastimes. End flashback. Naruto stared at her. He had already taken in one of his lovers and not even realized it. He felt stupid for not seeing it before. Yami had the same eyes as her and had the purple skirt like Ino had on now. I thought I had loved this guy but am not sure anymore. I hate people who hurt others for something they could not help or stop from happening. I wish to learn more interrogation techniques and taijutsu. My strengths are interrogation, medical herbs, and chakra control. Anko nodded at her. A girl after my own heart. Now your turn, Big Red. Alexandra looked at her. My name is Alexandra. I like. What, no last name? Said Anko in a sly voice. No, I do not, but if I gave myself one it would be Uzumaki. She smiled and looked at Naruto. My favorite color is red. I love my master. I would do anything for him no matter what he asked. I hate those who do anything to hurt, make fun of, or say bad things about my master. I wish to learn more about my master. I am good at many things. Anko looked at her like she was a little crazy, but who was she to bitch she was crazy? Okay, Whiskers, your turn. Okay, I'll go after you, Beauty Sensei, he said, radiating a full smile. She looked at him agitated. Fine. My name is Anko Mitarashi. My favorite color is black. I like blood and fighting. I hate snake bastards, traitors, and those who do not look at someone's inside. I wish to learn how to be a sensei. My strengths are interrogation, poisons, and stealth. She smiled and looked at Naruto. Happy, Whiskers. Now go. Naruto smiled and nodded. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My favorite color is orange. I like my girls Hinata and Alexandra. I like my new team and sensei also Ino-chan. At this all the girls turned red, some darker than others. I dislike people who are given everything and think they deserve it, people who judge and hurt people without knowing anything about them, and most of all I hate turtles. At that everyone around looked at him. Then out of nowhere there was two thumps as something hit the ground, then there was laughter. Alexandra and Anko were on the ground laughing and crying. Naruto looked at them and frowned. Sorry master, but it's so cute and funny. He looked over at Hinata and Ino to see them both laughing too. After a few minutes the laughing subsided. I wish to have people close to me and to learn anything I can to protect my precious people. I am strong in chakra reserves, in fighting spirit, and in the willingness to learn. Anko nodded. We have lots of work to do, but as long as you do your best and never give up you can and will succeed. I want you to meet me here tomorrow for our mission and then training. Dismissed. It had been a month since the new teams had been put together, and the new Team 7 was doing much better than the rest. They got missions done in half the time than most of the other teams and had done twice as many as any team had. They had done everything from cleaning up a field for children to play in to the most tedious task of catching Tora the cat, which they had done in a record time, for the Fire Daimyo's wife. Their training and improvement were astounding. They were considered the best Genin team since the Sannin, and were said to be the team to see go through the Chunin exams on their first try. Anko looked out over her training team and smiled. She felt like she had done something truly amazing in her life. She had trained them into the ground, making them do so much training that at the end of the day that they were lucky to move each day after it. She had them each learning or perfecting something every day. They were given a general workouts every day to strengthen their reserves, strength, chakra control, and precision. They did push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, and back flips to strengthen muscles. Water walking, tree climbing, and kunai balancing to up their reserves and help with chakra control. Precision, in Anko's opinion, was her favorite. She would throw kunai at them for them to dodge, and them to hit small things off trees. If they missed they did laps, on their hands, on the lake while Anko throw poison kunais at them. Hinata was being taught water and lightning-based ninjutsu after Naruto had said that those were her elemental affinities. She was learning to combine her ninjutsu into deadly combinations to help neutralize and even kill hordes of enemies. She was also changing her Juken style to be more fluid with less solid hits than it already had. She was incorporating her style and Anko's style of striking snake to form a style she named Streaming Lily. She still used Juken a lot, but you knew when she was serious when she slipped on her point gloves, as Naruto called them, for the point they made on her fingers and the pain they caused. Naruto had ended up her test dummy and permanent sparring partner due to his healing factor. She would beat the crap out of him, then use healing jutsus to bring him back quicker and do it again. So she got to practice two things at once, fighting and healing. Perfecting both and learning new things all at the same time. Ino was being taught earth and fire-based jutsu from Anko and Alexandra. She learned ninjutsu from more of a defensive and supporting work. She was learning to be the support and interrogator of the team. Anko was teaching her how to use poison, language, and torture to interrogate someone if by some unknown reason her mind-walking jutsu did not work. Anko said that she would make Ino into the greatest interrogator in the history of Konoha. She was getting Ibiki to help with her training as well. Anko even went so far as to sneak into her old house and stealing jutsu scrolls from her father for her to copy. She was learning to fight from Anko. She seemed to be made for the striking snake fighting style. She had the thin body and the flexibility to make the style truly effective. Her and Anko would spar and do katas together and stop to correct their formation. Anko had given her twin sickles for her to learn to incorporate into the style. Ino called them her fangs and loved to pull them out to twirl. Naruto's training by far had been the most unbelievable and biggest payoff. He had an unheard of rate of change. He learned faster than anyone she knew, he got stronger with less training, and he fought like an animal. He had found out that he was an abnormally high wind affinity and a secondary water one. He was learning the two different types of ninjutsu from Anko and Alexandra. He was learning wind jutsu and wind manipulation from Alexandra and water from Anko. He had even started on combining the two to make ice. Anko had taught him the basics of kenjutsu, but after had told him to go off and figure out his own style. He had been working on it, and had even come up with a few moves he called his style Fox's Claw. It was an attack-based kenjutsu with little to no defense, and it was a style of speed over strength. Alexandra was teaching her personal taijutsu style Shadow Paw to Naruto. This style taught strength over speed. It was more about connecting a punch more than where it connected. This style was like the Iron Fist style, more about hurting the body with strong hits than cause precise damage like the Juken. All in all, the training and hard work of her three students had been absolutely amazing. She felt happier with these three than she had felt since her family's death. They made her laugh, feel happy and strangely at home. Anko did still feel weird around Naruto, but it was not as bad as it was. She still blushed when he called her beautiful and still felt the flutter of her heart when he smiled. She was not sure what the feeling was, but she knew that it could not be bad because Naruto was a good guy. "Okay, Runs, it's time to pack it in," she said in her usual gruff tone. The three dropped to the ground and took a deep breath. Their sensei had made them jump throw hoops today, literally. They were completely worn out, and so tired that sleep would be all to eyes for them to reach. "Good work today, team. You know where to meet me tomorrow bright and early. Bye." She then disappeared into a swirl of leaves. "She always does that. Run us till we almost die, then leave us to ourselves," said Ino. "Yes, she does, but that is why we are the best there is. She has made us strong," said Hinata. "You are right, but does she have to leave us half dead?" Naruto said. The three laughed as they got up. Alexandra walked up to them and grabbed Naruto. "Are you ready to go, master?" she said slyly. "Yeah, I want to walk today. It is a nice day, and since it is so nice, we can go shopping. Sound good, ladies?" The three girls nodded and started walking off toward the village with Naruto right there with them. As they walked, talking amongst themselves, through the village, Naruto saw someone make a sudden movement off to the side of them. He reached out and grabbed the kunai out of the air as it was about to hit Ino. Ino's eyes grew wide. She looked at the kunai in Naruto's hand and over to the area it was thrown from. Sitting there on a chair staring at them was her father. "I thought you were just a killer, but now you're a slut who hangs out with other killers." Ino started to shake as she looked at her father. Naruto saw this and turned to the man and said in a serious tone, "She is no killer, and slut she is the farthest thing from. Why would she not be? She lives with you, murderer, and your other two whores, and you are learning from the snake whore, so of course she is one." Ino was confused. Naruto was no murderer, she thought. "Why do you care where I live, who it is with, and who teaches me? You kicked me out with nothing but the clothes on my back." The man looked pissed. Do not backtalk me, girl, I am still your father. I do not want our family name soiled by you hanging with this demon. Ino looked confused again. A father does not leave their child alone with nowhere to live or go with nothing but the clothes they are wearing. Do not call Naruto-kun that. He is so nice and sweet. I have known more happiness with him in a month than with you in 12 years. Naruto smiled at her. She called me Naruto-kun. I wonder if she realizes it? Her father frowned and started walking toward her. You are going to come back with me and stop being a ninja. You will just embarrass the family name. No. I will never go with you. I am a ninja now and am an adult. I can do what I want, and what I want is to stay with Naruto-kun and be a ninja. You do not have a choice. You are coming with me. He reached out to grab her. Intense pain shoots up his arm and he pulled away from her. He looked at his hand to see a large X on his hand. Naruto held up the kunai that the man had thrown and showed him that there was blood on it. If she says no, that means no. Every time you touch her without her permission, you get a nice scar, and trust me, that will scar, he said, smiling. The man now looked down at the cuts and said, I will get her back, demon, one way or another. Naruto looked at the man with a serious face. Inochi-san, if by some miracle you do get her, I will just go and get her back, and if you hurt her, nothing on this planet will stop me from killing you in the most horrible way possible. Inochi looked at the boy, then turned and walked away. Naruto smiled and looked at Ino and said in a calm voice, you can stay with us as long as you want, Ino-chan. At those words she burst into tears and hugged him. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Thank you so much. He stroked her blonde locks, murmured welcomes. She pulled away from him and blushed. Sorry, Naruto-kun. It's okay, Ino-chan. He called me Ino-chan. What does that mean? She was blushing a little harder. They continued their walking and stopped from time to time to pick a few things out from stores that tolerated and even liked Naruto. After about an hour, they walked back to Naruto's apartment and started making dinner. After a well-made dinner, they decided to hit the hay. Naruto walked over to both Hinata and Alexandra and kissed them goodnight. After that, he waved goodnight to Ino and lay on the couch to think. The girls walked into the room and shut the door. They each went to a drawer and started to change into their night clothes. Alexandra just took off her clothes except for her panties and laid on the bed. She liked to sleep mostly in the buff. Hinata was down to her underwear, and a bra walked to the closet and put on one of Naruto's shirts. It was a tight fit around the chest but loose around her legs. Ino put on a pair of short shorts and a training bra to sleep in and got in the bed. Ino looked up at the ceiling and after a few minutes started to talk. I need to tell you both something, she said, a little nervous. Go ahead, Willow, we're all ears. Ino sat up and gave Alexandra a death glare, then laid back down. I think I love Naruto? We know, said Hinata in a matter-of-fact voice. Ino sat up again and looked at the two. You know? Why are you not angry or hate me? Because we both knew going into it that we would have to share him with 5 others, Alexandra said. 5 others? Ino said, shocked. Yes, he will have 6 girls that will love him, and he will love. They will be his mates. We thought you were one for a while now, said Hinata. So I will be his mate? Is that like a wife or something? Yes, but better by about 1,000%, Alexandra said. How is this done, and what will happen to me? She said, kind of worried. You would have to bite him on the neck and him bite you. It will leave a tattoo on it. Like this. She pulled her collar down and showed Ino a lavender leaf symbol on her neck, and Alexandra showed her the tails on her neck. You would give him your symbol, and you get that same symbol. What will happen differs for each of us. Me, I got orange tips, the tattoo, and my eyes became more slits, said Hinata. So I get stronger and I get some sort of physical trait from him? Yes, but you should know that this is forever. You will be his all your life and he will be yours, but you will have to share. So he will love me too? We do not know. You need to talk to him to even see if you are one of them. What if he does not want me? He might kick me out. I don't know what I will do. He is not like that and you know it. Just go out there, and one more thing. Tell him I said it was okay for you to sleep there. So go. Hinata grabbed her and pushed her out the door. Ino stumbled and looked back at Hinata. Go and try not to hit anything. Ino walked through the room trying to avoid running into anything. She made it to the couch with little problem. She looked down at the mass sleeping there and got on her knees. Naruto-kun, can I talk to you? As she said it, she reached her hand out and touched him. There was no answer, so she stood up. She then slipped and fell onto Naruto. Naruto awoke to a sudden feeling on his chest. He opened his eyes and saw the silhouette of a woman. Alexander, go back into the other room. Ino blushed at those words and was trying to get up but slipped again. Naruto-kun, it's me, Ino, I kind of fell on you. Naruto sat up and pulled Ino with him. He sat her down next to him and turned on the lamp next to the couch. What's up, Ino-chan? Ino looked at him nervously. I need to tell you something, Naruto-kun. Okay, Ino-chan, go ahead, I'm all ears. Naruto-kun, I love you, she said and covered her face. Naruto smiled at her, then reached up and pulled her hands from her face. She looked at him with tears in her eyes. I want to be with you, Naruto-kun. I want to be your mate too. She flung her arms out and hugged his stomach area. Naruto looked a little stunned that she knew about the mating but figured that Hinata and Alexandra had told her about it. Do you really want to be my mate? Yes, please. I don't want to be without you. You make me happier than anyone in the world. Please make me one of your mates. If that is what you want, I will make you mine, but I have to tell you a few things first. He then proceeded to tell her of have the Kyuubi trapped in him, and that Alexandra was the Kyuubi, that she would have to share him with others. He then looked at her with a serious face. Do you still want to be with me, to be my mate? More than I did before. I want you as mine. I do not care. I will do anything you want. He smiled at her and nodded. At that, Ino started to jump up and down, then she tackled him and said, Thank you. Thank you? Thank you, master. At the word master, Naruto grabbed her shoulders. You do not have to call me that. Alexandra does, why can't I? He stared her in the eyes and said, Alexandra does it, in my opinion, as a penance for what she believes is the pain she caused me. She does it to show me that even though she is far more powerful than me, that she will bow to my every whim just to show the man she loves that she is sorry for the pain she caused him. I think I understand. So other than the tattoo and so physical and chakra changes, what can I expect from this mating? Well, you will have eternal youth and never have to worry about any sickness, but you can still die. You're just harder to kill. You will gain a link with me that will tell me where you are at all times. You will have the urge to be near me whenever you can. Doesn't sound bad to me, she said. This is forever, Ino. You will be mine and me yours. Okay, I understand, so let's do it. Naruto smiled and laughed at her gun-ho attitude. Do you want to bite me first or I bite you? I'll go first if it is okay with you. He turned his neck to the side and said, Leave me something pretty. She leaned into him and grabbed the back of his neck. She pulled him in close and breathed in, smelling ramen and mail. She bent down and bite. Naruto felt the rush overtake him. The feel of Ino push into him as she bite down on his neck. He turned his head and bite left side, starting to channel chakra into it. Ino moaned. She had never felt anything like this in her life. It felt like concentrated chakra and heat. It made her feel turned on. She could feel the dampness between her legs grow. When it became unbearable, she pulled and screamed Naruto Kyuan as she climaxed. Naruto pulled back from her neck and smiled. He licked his lips and looked at his new mate. She had changed more than Hinata or Alexandra had. She had slit eyes, tips that were both purple and orange, her canine teeth had grown sharper and more pronounced, and her eyes became a solid blue like his. Ino smiled at him and said, My love. My mate. She then kissed him hard, grabbing the back of his neck and pulling him into her. He was thinking for a second, she kisses like Yami. He kissed her back and Ino moaned. She went for his shirt but he stopped her. She looked at him with lust in her eyes. She want him badly. Why not? I want you. She then looked down, and it seems you want me too. He looked down and noticed the tent he was sporting. I'm sorry, I would love to, but Hinata will be my first. Okay? She looked disappointed but nodded. She got off him. She walked into the bathroom and turned on the light. Naruto looked over after a minute and saw her staring at something on the wall. He got up and walked over and peered in to see her staring at herself. He put his arms around her and whispered to her, You look amazingly beautiful. She looked more closely at herself. He was right, she was even more beautiful. The tips made her blonde hair stand out, her eyes were like his solid blue but a lighter blue than his, and her teeth were longer and sharper. She looked over at and noticed a flower where Naruto had bitten her. She stared at the flower. It was a purple snapdragon with blue lining. She then looked at Naruto and saw the same thing on his neck, but one of the tails from the tattoo that went around his neck stretched out and touched the flower, and circling the tail was a vine. They walked back into the living room and sat down. Ino looked at Naruto. Can I stay out here with you tonight? I do not think it is okay. Hinata is to be my first in all things. Hinata said I could sleep with you tonight. Did she really? I guess if she said it was okay, then you can. Ino smiled and hugged him. Naruto laid down, and Ino laid next to hugging him to her. I love you, Naruto. Good night, Ino-chan. Good night, Naruto-kun. They kissed and slowly drifted off to sleep. The next morning out front of the Hokage Tower the gang sat waiting for their crazy sensei. Ino was looking over at her changes, still admiring them. What happened to Willow? Everyone looked over to see Anko standing by the steps to the Hokages. She got a makeover, said Naruto smiling. Anko stared at him confused. Makeover? Yes, Ino is one of my lovers now. Anko looked over at Ino with slightly hard eyes. Naruto smiled. If he didn't know better he would say she looked jealous. He decided to tease her a little. You could join them, sensei, you would be more than welcome. Anko looked over at him and blushed. Let's go and get our missions for the day so we can train. She turned and started to walk up the stairs. They reached the Hokage's office and knocked. Enter, said a young familiar voice. They entered the room to see the Hokage sitting at his desk with their old sensei Irika sitting next to him. What can I do for Team 7 today? We came to get our mission, Hokage-sama, said Anko as she bowed. Hopefully something more fun, old man. I am tired of the cat and painting houses. We need something more challenging. Naruto shows some respect to the Hokage, said Irika. The Hokage laughed. Okay. How about AC ranked out of the village? Sound good? Yes, please. I could use it. Hokage-sama, they are not ready for AC rank yet. They are fresh from the academy. Irika-san, my team is more than ready for AC ranked mission. They are not the same kids you taught in the academy. Anko stared at the man as she said it. Irika looked her, not believing that these three, once considered the three weakest in the class, could have changed that much. He stared at the three each in turn and noticed small changes, but nothing that could show that they were changed other than appearance. Irika, I believe Anko is right. They train hard and do more mission than even some of the seasoned Chunin do. Irika nodded to the leader of the village. Your mission is to escort this man back to Wave. Tazuna-san, you can come in now. A man entered the room with a bottle in one hand and a bat in the other. He was about as tall, if not a little taller, than Anko. He had a beer belly that made it look like he was smuggling a keg in his shirt. He had gray hair and a goatee. He was wearing a straw hat and a small pair of spectacles on the bridge of his nose. These runts are going to protect me. They look like they could not protect a mouse from a cat. That boy there looks like he could not win a fight with his shadow. Tazuna blinked, and when he looked back, the redhead that was standing behind the blonde boy had disappeared. He felt something around his neck. He turned to see that the redhead was standing behind him and had her hands around his throat. My master is very strong. Do not insult him again or I might have to hurt you. Trust me. Alexandra, stop and come here. As if by command, the redhead, now known as Alexandra, let go of Tazuna and walked back to the blonde and kneeled before him. He reached out and touched her cheek. No threatening the client, okay? Sorry, master. He kissed her forehead and helped her up. By now Tazuna felt kind of weird about the show. Do they practice slavery in Konoha? Shaking the thought from his mind, he turned back to the leader of this village. We accept the mission, Anko said. Good, you are dismissed, but Naruto, can you stay behind for a few minutes? I would like to talk to you in private. Sure, old man. Anko turned to the team. We will meet at the north gate in an hour and a half. They all nodded before leaving the room. When they were all out, the Hokage turned to Irika and said, Go take a break, Irika, come back in a half an hour, and we will continue. Hi, Hokage-sama. Irika turned and walked out the room. So Naruto, I noticed the change in Ino. What happened to her? She decided she wants to be with me. So I gave her a gift. Okay. What did her father say to that? He said nothing. He kicked her out. She is living with me and the girls has been for over a month. Well, her father has petitioned to marry her off to the Uchiha. I cannot let that happen. She is with me now and she is her own person. When her father kicked her out, he gave up the right to give her to anyone, and I will fight anyone I have to keep her. I understand. I denied it and told him the same. He was very angry, said the Hokage with a snicker. Thank you, Oj-san. How is your? I'll get you now, old man, said a boy who burst in with a shuriken in his hand. The Hokage smiled. The boy went to throw the shuriken when he tripped. Naruto looked at the boy with his mouth agape. Hey you? You tripped me. No, you tripped on that long scarf. You shouldn't wear it, or at least wrap it tighter. He grabbed his scarf and wrapped it tighter. I wear it the way my mother put it on me. Don't tell me what to do. It is great that she put it on you like that, but you need to secure it, or you could get it caught. As he said this, he walked up and kneeled in front of the boy. He reached out and adjusted the scarf so it wrapped around his neck and then around his waist. There, it should help, okay? The boy looked up at him. Who are you? Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you. He stuck his hand out and shook the younger boy's hand. My name is Konohamaru. The boy looked kind of confused. Why are you being nice to me? Is it cause I am the Hokage's grandson? Naruto looked back at the old man. He's your grandson? Yes. He is my daughter's son, he said sadly. Naruto looked at the little boy and smiled. The kid had lost his parents, he knew that. Is that all you needed, old man? Yes, you can go. Come on, Konohamaru. They walked out of the room. When they made it out of the tower, he turned to the little boy. How about I train you? Really? He said with a smile. Yeah. I want to ask you some questions. Okay. How many friends do you have? None. Do you have anyone you love, someone you want to protect? Other than the old man and the memories I have of my parents, no. Okay, for me to train you, I want you to do 3 things, okay? Anything. I want you to make 3 friends and to work on this with them. Naruto handed him a scroll. Konohamaru opened it, and he smiled. You need to have it done when I get back, okay? If you do that, I will train all 3 of them too. Okay, boss, will do. The boy then ran off towards the ninja academy cackling. 2 hours later. The 3 girls and Naruto sat at the gate and waited. They're half an hour late. Where are they? We're right here. Found the bastard at a bar drinking his weight in sake. Anko was walking up dragging the client behind her. She reached them and looked them over. Ready to go? As ready as we will ever be. Let's go then. Team formation diamond. Naruto, you in the center, Hinata in the back, Alexandra left, Ino right, and I will be in the front. Move out. The team had been walking for over an hour. They stayed in the diamond formation and were talking amongst themselves. What's wave like, Tazuna? Asked Ino. It's a beautiful place, or was. It's surrounded by crystal clear ocean water. The town is small, but its people are some of the best I have ever met. Sounds like a paradise on earth, said Hinata. Yes. They kept talking as they walked on the path to wave. Naruto was talking to Hinata when he stopped talking and activated his Psychigan. Looking out of the corner of his eyes, he sees a puddle. He looked left to Alexandra and nodded, then disappeared. Tazuna turned around to see Alexandra reaching down into a puddle. Confused as to what the redhead was doing, he watched. Her arms disappeared into the puddle, and as she brought them out, he was shocked to see a man in each of her hands. The men looked at the woman now holding them up in the air. They both started kicking, trying to get out of this redhead's hands. She turned and threw them at a blue-haired girl. As they neared her, they felt jolts to their bodies, feeling like needles hitting them. When they landed behind the girl, they tried to get up, but nothing happened. Don't try to get up, gentlemen. The lovely lady to my right has made that impossible, so please sit back and tell me everything, said Naruto, sounding like someone working at a spa. The 2 men were flipped over by a purple-haired woman in a trench coat. They stared over to the young man who must have been the one to tell them to talk. We won't tell you nothing, said the man on the left. Okay, then you asked for it. Anko stepped up and raised her right arm. Snakes came out her sleeves and bite the man on the left on his arm. You got about 5 minutes, then you die, Anko said with a sadistic smile. The man looked at her in the face and said, I don't believe you, and even if I did, I would not tell you. As the seconds went by, the man started to sweat. After about a minute, he started to vomit. His teammate looked on in horror as his partner started to bleed out of his nose. Just tell them it is not worth it, please, brother. Never, he said as he started to cough up blood. Very brave man, I commend you, but you got about 1 minute before you start to beg for death, said Naruto. Okay. I'll tell you everything, just please keep him alive. Naruto nodded to Ino. She walked up to the man and pulled out a syringe and injected him with a blue liquid. Then now talk. The man started to talk, telling them of everything. He told them about his job to kill the bridge builder, that a man named Gato had hired them, that he had other ninja working for him too, that the man had an arm of thugs and samurai, and that his favorite color was red. Anko nodded, then walked up to the two men and knocked them out. She grabbed the chain that was tying them together at the gauntlets on their hands and tied them to a tree. She then looked over at Tazuna. You got some explaining to do. Tazuna sat by a tree and told them everything. When he finished, he looked at them. Please, we need your help. You could save hundreds and earn the respect of our village. Anko turned to her team. We got to decide if we are going to do this. If we do, I got to send for reinforcements. Her team looked at one another and then nodded to Anko. She pulled out a scroll and started writing. After about 5 minutes, she pulled out another scroll and channeled chakra into it. A bird popped out of the scroll and Anko tied the scroll to it. The bird flew off and Anko turned back to her team, and now we played the waiting game. Naruto pulled out a pack of cards and said in a happy voice, anyone up for some poker? An hour later they were in a heated game with just Anko, Naruto, and Alexandra. Ino and Hinata had opted out after losing 10 kunai each. Naruto looked at Anko and said, care to make this hand interesting? What did you have in mind? The losers have to do what the winner wants, anything the winner wants, no matter what. Anko and Alexandra both snickered. Anko looked at her hand. She had 2 pair aces with a queen kicker. Alexandra looked down and frowned. She had 3 kings. She knew she had this one. Deal, they both said in unison. Okay ladies, show me what you got. Anko put down her hand and smiled. Damn good hand, Anko-sensei. Alexandra smiled, then put down her hand. You're mine, master, and you to Anko-sensei. Damn, it looks like you got me beat, Alexandra, unless Naruto then showed his hand. It was a royal flush, all red hearts. Alexandra and Anko were slack-jawed. Alexandra was the first to recover. I am yours, master, do what you like. She smiled seductively. Anko was still slack-jawed. Well, blonde, you win. What do you want? Alexandra, all I want is a kiss from you. She walked over to him, swaying her hips more than she had to. She leaned over and kissed Naruto passionately. She made a show of it by falling into his lap and wrapping her arms around him. Tazuna was in shock that this boy had a woman much older him basically mouth raping him in front of his sensei and client, not to mention other girls that seemed to be with him. Alexandra pulled back from him. That was tasted. She leaned into him to go for another when he said, I need to get my something special from Anko now. She pouted. Okay, master, but I want more later. Naruto nodded to her. Anko, please follow me, I got something special for you. At this, Anko looked nervous but got up and followed him. If the team comes, tell them I had to have a private talk with Naruto, okay? The team nodded, but the girls looked furious. Naruto turned and stared at them. Do not fret, I will keep my promise. The girls smiled at that and started talking amongst themselves. Tazuna was wondering what this promise was, but was wondering more about what the boy was going to do with his teacher. He started having images of what the two could be doing and started to giggle with some blood flowing out of his nose. Naruto walked deep into the woods with Anko following right behind him. When he felt they were far enough away, he turned to her. She looked at him a little nervous. So what do I have to do? Naruto smiled. Show it to me. Anko looked at him and went to the hem of her shirt and began to pull it up. She got to her navel and Naruto grabbed her hand. Not that, the other it. Anko then grabbed the top of her skirt and started to slide out of it. Naruto grabbed her hand again and shook his head. Show me your curse seal. Anko looked shocked. How do you know about the seal? Sometimes when we are sparring and you use too much chakra, I see you grab your left shoulder. Once you grab it, a look of pain crosses your face, then you get a burst of black-purple chakra from nowhere. Anko stared up into his blue eyes. Do you know how I got it? No. I do not care where you got it. It looks to be causing you pain, and it hurts me to see you in pain. She took off her trench coat and slid the left side of her shirt sleeve down. It was given to me by my old sensei Orochimaru. I was his apprentice, and I guess you could say he was my hero. He took me, and after my family died, he was like a father. I went with him everywhere and did everything I could to be the best for him. She began to cry lightly. I am going to look over it, okay, so stand still but keep talking. She nodded and continued. We went on a mission together to Ocean Country, just us together. It was great, we laughed and trained. When we got there, he told me that we were going to one of his bases to see some researcher that a friend of his was doing. We got on a boat and went out to this island right off the coast. We walked till we found this weird snake-like mouth and we walked inside. She shivered and Naruto looked at her in the eyes. Go ahead. Then he went back to touching and poking the seal. When we got to a door, he knocked. A man came to the door and let us in. When we walked in, I looked around, and saw these tubs with people in them. He started talking to the man who let us in, and I just walked around and looked at these people. It was the most horrible thing I have ever seen. They looked like they were being changed into fish. I stared at them each in turn, and when I came to the last one I actually vomited. And it was a girl of maybe 2 or 3, and as I stared at her she opened her eyes. They looked like she was in real pain, so I grabbed a wrench of a work table and ran at it ready to break it open when I was grabbed and taken off to another room. When we got there I looked to see who grabbed me, and it was my own sensei. He looked down at me as I tried to ask him why he was doing this. He said to be the strongest, then his neck extended and he bite me. I screamed, then passed out. When I awoke I crawled from the room and ran back to Konoha. Naruto looked at her and tear went down his cheek. I understand betrayal. He then smiled at her. You know what I am, don't you? She nodded. I understand your pain more than anyone could. I have seen you walking around the village and being talked bad about. I have heard the names they call you and seen the things they throw at you. You are not alone, Anko-sensei. I am. No, we are very much the same. She looked at this boy, someone that was a little more than half her age, and cried. After a good 3 minutes they pulled away from each other. I can remove the mark. Anko was ecstatic. How? Do not worry of the how, just do you want it off? Yes. Please do it. Naruto put his right hand on the seal and said, this is going to hurt. Just don't pull away. Anko nodded. Naruto started channeling some of his chakra into the seal, then after a few seconds started channeling his tail chakra into it. Anko felt a tingling feeling at first, then it started to burn. She hissed in pain and clenched her teeth. After about a minute Naruto pulled his hand away. He fell to his knees next to her and panted. She was worried, so she bent down to see if he was okay. He turned his head, looked up at her and smiled. That hurt like a bitch. Anko laughed. Yes, it did. So is it gone? Naruto raised his right hand and showed her his palm. On it was her curse seal mark. Does that mean you have it now? She said, worried that she had just cursed her student. No, I just got the mark. I killed its influence within the first 2 minutes. The last minute was to remove it so you would never have to see it every day of your life and remember your pain. Anko was stunned that Naruto had thought that much as to worry about her remembering it. She got down on her knees and grabbed him by his collar. Are you mad at me, Anko-sensei? No. Then she pulled him into a passionately strong tongue wrestling kiss. Naruto's eyes were wide and he was a little confused, but after a minute he started getting into. After a few minutes they pulled away from each other. Got any other curse marks for me to remove? He smiled. She looked at him and smiled. She then hit him on the head. Baka. She got up and put her trench coat on. We got to go back. Naruto got up and started walking back to the group with Anko right behind him. As they neared the road, Naruto looked up to see that the other team had made it. He looked closer to see who the team consisted of when he noticed that one of the new people was on their back with Alexandra stepping on him. He walked up when he noticed what team it was. It was Kurenai's team, and at seeing that Naruto cursed. Let him up please, Alexandra. She bent down and looked ready to hurt him bad. Alexandra now. She went rigged and stepped off him. Sasuke got up off the ground and walked towards Alexandra. He raised his hand and brought it down to smack her. He was almost there when his stopped mere inches from her face. He looked back to see a very angry Naruto standing there holding his wrist with his Dojutsu blaring. If you ever, and I mean ever, raise your hand to strike any woman and I find out, I will take this hand. If I were you, I would beg me not to let her have you, cause there would be nothing left. Sasuke pulled his hand back. Do not touch me, Dobe. He raised his hand back and smacked Naruto. Stop. Beg for it, Dobe, and I will. Not you, idiot. I was talking to them. Sasuke turned around to see Alexandra with a kunai ready to stab him, Ino with her sickles going for his neck, Hinata with her pointy gloves on ready to hit his heart, and Anko's snakes an inch in front of his face. He just saved your life. Please, master, let me kill him, Alexandra begged. No, it is okay, but that is the only time you are ever allowed to hit me again. Got it? Sasuke was shaking but turned to look at him. Whatever. Naruto turned back to the girls and smiled. They came up to him and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Sasuke hit all but Anko. Anko turned to Kurenai. Let's go, everyone, pair up. Naruto, you in the middle. Sasuke pair with Shino and go to the right. Sasuke was leaning towards Alexandra but turned and walked to Kiba. Anko stayed up front with Kurenai, Ino and Hinata went to the left, Alexandra stayed to the back, and Naruto stayed next to Tazuna. 3 hours later. They came to what seemed to be the ocean and sat there. So when will our ride get here? Said Ino. There. Tazuna pointed out on the water, and out from the mist came a small dingy. That will not carry us all, Shino said in his drawl voice. As the boat made it to shore, Naruto looked around at everyone. Everyone in the boat but me and Alexandra. Why? How are you going to get there, Naruto-kun? Asked a worried Hinata. Naruto looked at her and smiled. We're going to walk there. That is impossible, there is no way to walk there. Our village is on an island and it would take too long to get another boat here without getting caught by one of Gato's boats, said the boatman. Naruto put on his foxy grin. Trust me, we will get. Just cast off. The man cast off and started to row. As they made their way from the shore, they saw Naruto take a running start and jump. He was flying towards the side of the boat when they heard cannonball. Everyone turned their heads and raised their hands to block the inevitable spray of water, but it never came. They looked over to see Naruto standing next to the boat with a huge shit-eating grin on his face. Got ya? The girls stared to laugh. That's when Alexandra walked up to him. That was not funny, Naruto-kun, said Ino and Hinata at the same time, pouting. That's when they realized that he was walking next to them, when they were on a boat, in the ocean. They all looked over the edge to see him walking on water. Kiba looked at him. What are you? A ninja of the leaf, of course, he said, smiling. How are you doing that? Asked Sasuke with a power-hungry look in his eyes. Chakra on the feet, of course, he said, smiling. If a dope like you can do it, then a prodigy like me can do it, no sweat. Sasuke then jumped out of the boat and right underwater. Naruto started cracking up. He looked down at the sputtering form of Sasuke. Never try something you have never practiced, cause you could end up all wet. When they got to the shore, Sasuke looked at Naruto. Teach to walk on water. Why should I? Cause I need it to become strong. No, that's okay, you can learn on your own. Sasuke started to bitch about wanting to learn now, but Naruto just shrugged him off. Anko hopped out of the boat and gave her thanks to the boatman. Okay, same pairing and same positions except Naruto out front. They got into their positions and started down the road. Half an hour later. While walking down the dirt road making small talk among themselves, Naruto turned to a bush and threw a kunai at it. Walking up to the bush, Naruto pushed aside some branches and looked down. Naruto jumped back and screamed, "Holy crap!" Hinata looked at him confused and walked up to the bush. She pulled the branches aside and squealed, "So cute." She bent down and picked up something. She turned around and in her arms was a small white turtle. The girls started screaming how cute it was while Naruto backed away from it. After a few minutes of crazy turtle hugging time, they started back down the road. As they were passing a lake, a mist started rolling in. Naruto started feeling like he was being watched. Hinata, see if you can see anyone nearby. Activating her bloodline, she looked around trying to spot any chakra signatures. Looking behind, she saw one and it was moving. It suddenly stopped, and one of the arms on the person flung out. Everyone down. Everyone dropped but Naruto, who just stood there. He bent down at the knee and reached out his hand. Out of nowhere, a huge sword appeared in Naruto's hand. He started spinning it in his hand and flung it off to the left. There was a loud thunk and scream. Everyone turned to the sound of scream and the mist cleared. There, stuck to a tree by the giant sword, was the other brother that attacked them. Everyone turned to look at Naruto, and he shrugged. It's not like I meant to kill him. Wow. Not bad for a boy, said a gruff voice out of the mist. You're right, he seems to know how to defend himself. Another more even voice. A man stepped out of the mist to the sword and pulled it out of the body. He turned and looked at the boy now standing, who had caught his sword and killed one of the demon brothers. He looked to his left to his fellow swordsman and smiled. I want the little guy. Naruto looked at him and screamed at him, I am not little. Anko looked at the two men and smiled. If it isn't Zabuza, demon of the mist, and Kagran, spark of the flame. Two of the legendary mist swordsmen. Mitarashi, Anko, snake mistress, and Kurenai, genjutsu mistress of Konoha. What a surprise, this is Zabuza, said the now known Kagran. Yes, it is. Kurenai turned to her team and said, watch and protect Tazuna. Sasuke stepped forward and pulled a kunai. He threw it at Kagran as hard as he could. It whizzed through the air, going straight for Kagran's face. Everyone looked back as he threw his head back as the kunai made contact. Sasuke laughed, some legendary swordsman he is. There was a laugh and everyone watched as Kagran bent his head back. There in his mouth was the kunai caught in his teeth. He spit it into his hand and threw it back at Sasuke. It was so fast Sasuke did not see it, and closed his eyes waiting to die. When he opened them, the kunai was an inch from his left eye. He looked past the kunai to see a hand and then up the hand to see that it belonged to Naruto. Naruto handed back the kunai to Sasuke and smiled. Next time you do something that stupid, I will not save you. I do not need you to save me, though. I could have caught it myself. Zabuza looked at his partner, and then at Enko and Kurenai. Is he not grateful to be alive? If I was him, I would be on my knees thanking him for that. Naruto answered before them, he's a prick who thinks no one can beat him. Zabuza laughed, I like you, kid. Now why don't you give us the old man, and then I won't have to kill a kid I actually like. Sorry to say that I cannot do that, Zabuza. Got to finish my mission. You know how it is. I understand, but I am going to have to kill you all. I hope you understand. Naruto nodded. Kurenai looked back at her team again. Protect him, all three of you. That's an order, Sasuke. Naruto looked at them and looked over to Ino. Stay with them, please. Ino nodded and took out her sickles and stood behind Tizuna. Naruto turned back to the two men in front of him. Okay, boys, looks like we are going to get it on. Me and Hinata will fight Misty while Enko and Alexandra fight Sparks. Kurenai, you are back up attack if you get a chance. That sound good? He looked at them all in turn and they all nodded. They split into their pairs and stood in front of their combatant. They stared at each other, then the battle began. With Naruto and Hinata. Naruto and Hinata stood staring at their opponent, waiting for the right time to strike. They stood near each other without being right next to one another. Zabuza stared at the two as they stared back. Then he threw his sword into the air and started going through hand signs. As he reached the last one, he said, Hidden Mist Jutsu. A thick mist started to form around him to spread out. After a few seconds, he disappeared into the mist. Hinata. Hi, she said, then activated her Dojutsu and looked around, trying to find a chakra signature other than theirs around. Looking around, she could not see one. Then out of the corner of her eye, she saw something move. Turning around, she saw it moving towards Tizuna and her fellow Genin. Over there! She cried out, pointing towards Tizuna. It's over! Zabuza roared as he appeared behind Tizuna, swinging his sword sideways, ready to take out everyone in a 7-foot radius. Right before the sword was about to hit Tizuna, a clang was heard. Zabuza looked down to see the blonde brat standing there holding a sword blocking his own. Anger overtook Zabuza at seeing a mere boy block his strike. He punched the boy in the face, and on contact, he turned into smoke. Shadow clone. There was a splashing sound. Looking down, he saw a sword sticking out of his chest. Naruto looked to see water coming out at where his sword had entered. He pulled it out his sword and the water clone turned into a puddle. He turned his head to see Zabuza behind him. Naruto kicked out, knocking Zabuza away towards the lake. He turned and raced towards him. You're pretty good, kid, Zabuza said. He walked out onto the lake and looked back to Naruto. Naruto walked over and out onto the water. Taking up his stance of fox's claw, he held his sword in his right hand upside down with his left held flat against the side of the blade. His legs were apart in a horse stance with his right just a little ahead of his left. Zabuza looked at the kid and laughed. Are you about to let one go, kid? Because that's what it looks like to me. Naruto just smiled. He raised his left hand off the blade and gave Zabuza the one-finger salute. Zabuza's smile disappeared and growled funny. Zabuza got into his stance and closed his eyes. The mist started to come around again. Naruto looked at him and said, no, that just won't do. He started going through seals, and when he finished he looked up and shouted, Great breakthrough! A large gale force gust came out of nowhere and started to blow away the mist. Zabuza looked pissed and had a frustrated look on his face. He stared over at the boy he was facing off against and looked into his eyes. He noticed how blue they were, then they changed. They turned into two different colors, one red and the other white. He stared at them and then blinked and the boy was gone. That's when all hell broke loose for Zabuza. Enko and Alexandra. The pair of jounin stood off to the left of the other fight. They were staring down their opponent, watching as he brought out his swords. It was two long tiger hook swords. Both were about 4 feet long with semicircle knuckle guards that had spikes on the outside. They were solid red with black and purple flames going up both sides. They looked from the swords to their wielder. He was a short man, maybe about 5 feet 3 inches, with small legs and a long body. He had long orange hair with red streaks in the back and had on black goggles so you could not see his eyes. All that he wore were black baggy pants, red sandals, and black gauntlets showing off his muscle-bound chest and horrible burn scars that riddled his chest and arms. I get to fight these lovely ladies. I am so lucky! He smiled at them, showing blackened teeth. Alexandra and Enko looked at one another, then smiled. It is your lucky day, Kagran. You get to die at the hands of beautiful women. What more can you ask for? Asked Anko. Anko stood in front of Alexandra and got into her fighting stance. Kagran looked at the two, then put both his swords in an X form in front of him. Both of his swords burst into flames. He brought them down and screamed red X. A flaming X came flying at the two. Anko dove out of the way while Alexandra just smiled and looked at Kagran. She raised her left hand and the X hit it. Kagran laughed, thinking he had hit her full on and that he only had to worry about Anko now. The dust settled and Kagran saw to his amazement that the red head was still there, with her hand still out without a burn on it. He looked around for signs of a jutsu that was used to stop the attack or that she might have moved then moved back, but there was nothing to show it. That was interesting, said Kagran in his usual calm voice. Alexandra smiled and reached into her back pocket. Kagran looked on, wonder what she was reaching for when she pulled out a pair of scarlet gloves and put them on. He looked as she flexed her hand and then without warning claws shot out of the knuckles of them. As he was watching Alexandra, Anko was sneaking up behind him. When she was right behind him, she took out a kunai and was about to stab him in the back when she felt heat on her back. She jumped to the left trying to avoid being hit. It hit Kagran and he burst into flames. When she looked over to see who had shot the fireball, she saw Kagran standing there. Come on, Anko. Did you really think it would be that easy? Anko looked at him then smiled. Yes, and it was. Kagran was confused. Looking around, he saw nothing out of the normal. He then felt a stabbing pain. Looking to his right, he saw Alexandra standing there with one of her claws stuck in his side. He pulled his hand back and hit her in the face. He looked at the wound and assessed the damage. Kagran frowned, noticing that